imagine if an SJW got a hold of this stream right now? Oh my, we would be blacklisted.
We're canceled. We're canceled every which way.
Of course, yeah. If Kenobi's a jumbled mess like that, a lot of fans are. It's not going to be good.
The guy with the guy in the cloak with the hood, just, you know,
Again, a lot of people, a lot of people are really mad about that, man. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Late Night. Man, I feel like I'm a little rusty. I haven't done this in a while. As always, there's my co-host, Moff Rissman. How you doing, man?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. So obviously, Andor episode 8 came out. We had all of Tales of the Jedi that we got to talk about, and then beyond that, we also had a very interesting interview with John and Dave going over what they have going on in Star Wars, why they do what they do, and how they do it, which I also want to talk about because I thought
that 5-minute interview was...
There were some interesting points in there, for sure.
Yeah.
So where do we want to start? You tell me.
Oh, gracious. Let's start with... I think we should probably start with Tales of the Jedi, right?
Okay. Yeah. I'm down to start with Tales of the Jedi. It's one of those things, it's kind of odd. I enjoyed it. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the show at all. And I thought there were some really high points. And the rest of it, for me, unfortunately, I just kind of felt like I just wasn't really that into it. I don't know. Maybe I'm like Ahsoka'd out or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I just kind of feel like everything that was going on with Dooku was, even though it's a story that's kind of been told, it was new and it was fresh and it's something that we haven't seen, right? Whereas with Ahsoka, I mean, we got the first episode, but everything else was basically, it's kind of shit we've already seen. And if you've read the Ahsoka book, you already know basically what happens in the last episode. So I don't know. I was just, thought it was good, but meh.
Do I want to piss you off? I'm going to piss you off.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, do it.
So I was researching some stuff for EBN's stream tomorrow. And I came across an article about Filoni talking about Tales of Jedi and what he wanted to do. And I'm editorializing a bit on your point, but basically what he said was, I really wanted to tell more of Ahsoka's story, but I needed to juxtapose it on someone who's not Ahsoka, right? So he said, so I picked Dooku, right? And because, there's certain things about Dooku and Ahsoka's story and blah, blah, and all that. And on your point, I'm like, man, I would have liked 6 episodes on Dooku, right?
Yep.
Because
Ahsoka's
getting her own live action thing and all that rest of it and everything else. And so for me, it was like, I thought it was good. Right. I thought Filoni did a good job telling the stories he wanted to tell. I mean, it was well written and all that, and the animation, everything was beautiful. But I'm like, it feels very misplaced, right? It just, why not release it along Kenobi or before Kenobi? I'm thinking, how does it fit in?
Because that would have put Kenobi to shame. No,
but I'm just saying, how does it fit into the time frame of what we're talking about, right? For me, my favorite episodes were 4 and 6, right? And if we think about
it doesn't fit in with the time frame, right? I mean, this is Star Wars equivalent of Black Widow, right? Like, why are you guys putting this out right now? This makes no sense. I don't want to get too salty about it.
No, I'm saying the same thing, right? And I'm like, episode 4 was cool, because it talked about, what finally happened with Yaddle and some of the rest of it. And through the course of it, we realized what Dooku did, in regards to the archives and the rest of it. Awesome. And I'm like, skip ahead to episode 6 about, again, for me, there was an Inquisitor, it's the Imperial Age, what brought Ahsoka back and all the rest of it. I'm kind of like, the rest of it for me was like, these are little nuggets of stories that I personally didn't need to see.
Well, and the other thing too that's kind of weird is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Ahsoka novel, was basically like commissioned by Dave Filoni, right?
Mm.
He wanted that story told and was a big part of it, if I'm not mistaken. And then when this show comes out, he goes back and literally changes what happens in the show, and it's not like it was so massive that it couldn't have been done, right? The things that happened in the book. And so I have to wonder, like, why did you change it? Why?
So again, there was another article that I read that talked about it was focused around, again, how did all this come to pass? And his opinion seemed to be in that article, hey, I had an outline for how they were supposed to write the book.
Right.
I submitted that outline. They wrote the novel. I told this story in the 3 parts I intended to tell it, right? And it's all part of the same story. And I'm kind of like, well, I get you, but
Right.
the novel came first, right? And it laid out a certain number of things, right? And now you've done this, and what you did here is not consistent with several things that happened.
Well, not only was it not consistent, it wasn't as cool. It wasn't nearly as cool as the shit that happens in the Ahsoka book. And I got to be honest with you, I did the Ashley Eckstein audiobook. Dude, that shit slapped. It slapped. It was really good. It was a really good book.
So I'm with you, but I'm like, so I felt like he's explaining why he did what he did, and for me, I'm just like reading it as I do. I'm like, well, the easiest way to have avoided this problem would have been not to fucking change it, not to Filoni it, right? Not to be I am all the canon, right? Because there are folks, again, there are folks that invest themselves in the non-visual media, whether it's comics, whether it's the books or whatever, and
comics aren't canon, right?
Well, of course not.
Yeah.
Right. But they invest a significant amount of time in those other things. And then it's like, when you think about it, it's like a 13 or 14 minute animated short, right? Where he retells that part of the story.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't find it disagreeable because I never read the book. I never invested that time. I was talking to Coach earlier today, and he was like, I really love that novel. And he's like, he felt slighted. Right, he felt slighted.
See, I didn't feel that way. I just felt confused. Like, why though? Why would you change it? I just don't understand the reasoning. And of course, there's probably some kind of explanation behind it. I don't know. Maybe he was getting fucking cold feet after he wrote the story. He's like, I wish I would have done it this way. Maybe. I don't know.
I think, again, I don't know, but from what I've read, I think he feels like he agreeably stitched it all together in a way that everyone should be happy with. And again, this whole everyone should be happy with it mentality is pervasive in today's
toxic positivity. Hey, right? Look, toxic, I don't care how many people come out, famous YouTubers, and say toxic positivity isn't real. You're wrong. You are dead fucking wrong. And you know what the worst part was? I saw another Star Wars YouTuber on TikTok the other day. And you know what they said? We're only toxically positive because you're toxically negative. What the what? What kind of bullshit is that? I'm sorry. That just irritated me. It irritated me to no end. Speaking of toxically positive, what's up, Nikki?
Positive does not correlate with my name. Thank you very much.
Nikki is here.
I can't stay long, but the show police has arrived, so continue. Do not let me interrupt your conversation.
No, over and above the whole toxicity around this, that, and the other is this whole notion of fungible canon, right? Or fungible might not be the right word, right? But this whole contextual canon. I've seen this a lot on social media also, as I've been trying to get past the whole everyone's like talking about all the words they couldn't say before. Now that I'm like, listen, I use this for research. I don't need this whole Elon, this, that, and the other. Put this aside.
It was on fire, dude. That shit was on fire. Was that last night or was that night before last?
That was today. That was yesterday and today.
I have never loved Twitter more.
Oh my God, it's insane.
But all I'm saying is, they're talking about this contextual canon. And I'm like, that's an oxymoron, right? Canon is canon, right? But what Filoni does is
we've been saying headcanon forever.
But headcanon is not real canon, right? Headcanon is our own compartmentalized version of what we believe is true, right? When I talk about, recontextualized canon, it's again the novels and these other things that have come out as the canon, and Filoni's like, you know what? Wasn't quite what I would have done.
I think I like mine better. You're like,
I've got 14 minutes of animated time on the screen. People are gonna watch it.
Disney doesn't give a shit about canon, Matt. They don't even respect their own fucking canon. Sorry,
Nikki is saying the same thing as me, or what I'm trying to say, right? It's they're like, they're at odds with themselves, and then Filoni's like, okay, whatever, and I'm like. It's very disrespectful to the folks who have invested a lot of time and money, right, in coming along up to this point. Nice. And again, I've not read the Ahsoka novel or any of the rest of it, but it still hurts my heart, right? Because it shouldn't be that passé, right, to just throw it away.
Well, I mean, here's the other thing too. So, I mean, this is a big topic of conversation in the community, as well as obviously live action versus animated. I think they should have a little bit more leeway in animation. That's just kind of my take on it, just because animation is like, and forgive me for saying this because I know my community is gonna fucking explode when I say this, everything in animation for me is kind of like meh canon. It's like, well, could have happened, I don't know. But if it's live action, that's like, that shit set in concrete, 100% it happened.
I feel the opposite because especially with Ahsoka and all these people, like, we got introduced to them through animation. So like live action Ahsoka, I'm still having a hard time connecting in my head with the animated Ahsoka. So I think it just depends what era they want to tell. And like, for example, things that started animated, I feel like should end animated. If you want to bring her live action here and there, that's fine. But her story and the Rebels continuation, I would have loved to have seen animated. I will gladly admit if it's good. I'm just saying that's what I would have wanted.
So, did you think Tales was good?
I thought the Dooku stuff was good. Again, this Ahsoka boner that Filoni has will never fucking go away. And I know that he gave, that pointless episode with her just showing the training montage, which he did it specifically to make sure people know why she's super OP, because I have a feeling we're going to see her do some crazy ass shit in her show. So that episode was necessary, but not really.
I feel like it was a re-explanation of why she was able to survive Order 66 when you got all these other Jedi who got effing wrecked.
Who was asking that though? We already saw it. So my point is that they're just prepping you. That's my point. And I feel like Tales of the Jedi is like it got more attention for the time that it was out than Andor has, which says a lot.
Here's a related question, right? Who was Tales of the Jedi released for? Who?
Clone Wars kids.
Yeah. So, but how do we think that factors into any of the other live action stuff that's coming? What was the purpose? What do we think the purpose was for releasing Tales of the Jedi?
Maybe what Felicity said. Spice up? Yeah.
Look at what Felicity said. I feel like that because that definitely happened, and all of a sudden Diego Luna's talking on his Twitter. It's all a PR game, and you're just not going to get people to care. The reason why people came back for Tales is because it's a familiar thing, and they're not changing it too much. Like the animated style is still the same. They're giving you something that people have been wanting. I think Jedi Lost helped make them this decision to do more Dooku shit too.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jedi, yeah. Look, that's the kind of help me out here. Help me try to understand something. In my mind, like that prequel era content, all of that kind of shit just has not been explored enough, in my opinion. I don't know. We got how many books about the original trilogy, post original trilogy? I feel like we've gotten a couple books when it comes to like the Clone Wars and Anakin and Obi-Wan and stuff like that. But that era where Anakin gets picked up, Dooku turning to the dark before episode 2 is just like empty.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. But if you think about it, just to play devil's advocate, we did get 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, which takes place in the prequels. And I think also Tales was a way to test the audience to see if they like something or not. I feel like this is their new method. Put out random shit like this, and if it does good, we'll give them more. They're making us the guinea pigs, which is fine as long as they listen to the fucking feedback, but that's another story.
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum for me, right? Because we've been absent animated content for a minute, right? They put this out, okay, people like it, they don't like it, whatever. January the 4th, we're getting another season of Bad Batch.
Just remember season 7 of Clone Wars, how you felt when that shit came out. Aside from the Martez fucking arc.
Oh my god, wasn't
it a special time?
Yeah, man. The Star Wars feeling was like very much back in my heart and my stomach and my soul.
As much as us hardcore fans love the animated content, it doesn't bring people into the franchise, right? It's not a draw, right? This to satiate.
That's what animated stuff is.
This series of shorts was a love letter to the fans, right? To the diehard fans. And it was something that Filoni wanted to do.
Hey, I think it was more a love letter from Filoni to Filoni. He's like, God, I fucking love Ahsoka.
Why don't we talk about why they took the name in the first place from the EU, Tales of the Jedi? What did they think they were going to accomplish with that? Instead of, they're just going to piss off EU fans even more.
Well, I think there was certainly an aspect of hype that they were like, oh shit, if we call this Tales of the Jedi, like they are going to come in droves to see this shit. You know what I mean? Like, that was me, man. I'm like, Tales of the Jedi? Fuck yeah.
They could have almost called it Tales for the Clone Wars, right?
Or Tales of the Force or some shit and give us Ventress. I'll never stop complaining that we don't have enough Ventress content.
But again, it's for me, it's a weird thing, right? I'm not disputing. It was very professionally done. Right? It looked great. The stories were thought out. The Kiner brothers killed it again on the music. Right, but what it amounted to was an hour and 15 or an hour and 20 minutes worth of filler animated content. Right, it wasn't necessary, but it was produced because Filoni, whoever thought, fans would really love this, and I respect that. Right, but for me, I'm kind of like, okay, so.
I don't feel like the Dooku shit was filler though, because we see some stuff that we didn't see from Dooku before, right? Unless, obviously there's some stuff in the books, but I don't think I remember, I could be mistaken, but I don't think I really remember a scene in any of the books where he's standing in front of the tree kind of lamenting, saying like, I told you, I fucking told you, and
the
you
best
guys didn't
listen. The best thing about it was Dooku, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But my issue with it is, the only reason Dooku featured in these shorts was because Filoni was like, I can't just do only Ahsoka again. So I have to do...
He probably tried. And
I have to do some kind of a dark side, something that's not... I'm telling you, it's exactly what he said. I'm paraphrasing, but you all can read it.
Yeah.
He's like, Ahsoka is the light. We need to have a progressive dark and how it's all going. He's like, Dooku is very interesting. He's a very interesting character. It wasn't completely explored. Let me do this.
Why was Ahsoka in like my top 5, right? And then over the last 2 or 3 years, like I'm done with her. I mean, I still like her, but I'm done with her. And it's their fault. And now we're going to get a whole fucking show.
Well, I mean, so that really okay, so that's a time for a little bit of internal looking, right? Like, is it overexposure? Is it because you don't like the way they're writing the character? Is it because she's coming from animation into live action? Like, what is it that's bugging you?
All of the above. And the fact that Filoni took time out to straight up say she's not dead when we heard her voice in Rise of Skywalker, I'm like, oh, here we fucking go. I knew the minute that happened, we were never going to get the end of her. Like, just give her an end already and solidify her as a legacy character.
I saw that. You said that. So we were in a chat somewhere and you said something like that. It was like, dude, give her a glorious death. Like, that's what she needs.
Please highlight KG's comment because I think we're all on the same page, right?
Ahsoka, don't forget, she's like part of the mother, trained by the Chosen One. Filoni's essentially setting up his own Chosen One. Like, just look at her history.
I don't know about a chosen one, but it's kind of weird for me.
Not
I'm
a
not
literal
like I don't know if I'm oversaturated with Ahsoka. I just think I need something else for that.
What else can you
character.
learn from her at this point? What else can you see with her that you haven't seen? She's watched the Force Ghost. She's turned off lightsabers a million times with her bare fucking hands.
So here's the thing about it for me, right? In Tales of the Jedi, if you think about the content they gave us for Ahsoka, whether you were into the book or not, right? There was nothing they gave me about Ahsoka that matters.
Matt.
Linda.
They invented time travel just to save her ass. As much as I love that, it's some of my favorite Star Wars, I will admit it. They invented time travel just so she wouldn't die. It's like, all right, if you're willing to do this for her, what else are we not like?
And I know this won't.
Is
I know this won't,
not time travel actually?
Oh no.
I know this won't surprise either one of you all, but I would have rather had an interstitial, an hour and 20 minutes Rebels continuation. Include Ahsoka in that, fine, right? But something that like kind of stitched together where we're at and where we're going with her series in animation. And I'm like that would have hit better with me because it would have fit into where we're going.
And I'm definitely one of those fans that was super pissed at her Leku, and I'm still pissed it's not long enough. That's what happens when you go from animated to live. Live to animated is a totally different beast. But animated to live action, like you have these expectations. I'm not saying she should be 1-1, but it's like you built her up so long animated. I don't fucking care about her in live action. I could change my mind, but I'm done at this point.
I just, it's tough whenever they make that transition too, especially because I feel like more than once we've seen that transition and been like, what the fuck is going on here? There were the Pikes. The Pikes were really questionable. I still think Cad Bane was questionable, but boy, did I get berated from every side of the fucking country when I said, he doesn't look right. And everybody was like, you're toxic piece of shit. He's perfect. I'm like, okay.
Dude, his fingers, his freaking flippity floppity fingers. It was weird.
And then, and then with Ahsoka, again, like, it doesn't ruin it for me, but yeah, I would have liked him to have.
So whether we think Cad Bane looked as good as he should have, they did try, right? The prosthetics and everything.
Yeah.
No, Matt, I'll do you one better. We wouldn't have cared if the story ended up being good.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going,
True.
Right? The story sucked. I am much more worried about another blue fellow. That's
no.
I know, Nikki. I know.
Oh,
this
boys.
Is why I'm like, people are like, we need to see Thrawn and Andor. I was like, motherfuckers, no.
Please,
me in the background.
No, for God's sake, no. Because I don't want to go there yet. I think they're gonna fuck him up when they bring him into Ahsoka. Yep. Please don't fuck me on Andor. Please.
Yeah.
He has
more of a chance of being serious on Andor than he does on Ahsoka too.
And that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, it makes more sense tonally for him to be there than in some other fucking dumb whoopity-boo, like Kenobi-esque story.
He doesn't belong in Andor, right? Tarkin belongs in Andor. Krennic belongs in Andor.
Tarkin's not going to be in Andor. That's why they got to look alike. That dude that hangs out with Dead.
All I'm saying is the story they're telling right now, especially if they keep on this Gorman nonsense, right? Tarkin came down and he's like, forget Gorman. He came down in his ship. He's like, y'all are done.
Star Wars.
Right. So we're going to see Tarkin before it's over, probably in the next season, right? The Krennic thing, I don't know. Ben Mendelsohn, I love him, right? But I don't want Thrawn now. And the point of this ramble is their care on these characters in live action. I'm taking a play out of Nikki's playbook, right? Their care on these characters in live action sometimes seems a little haphazard, right? But in animation, they're very, very consistent. Right. And I'm like, I don't understand why it doesn't why that care and feeding doesn't translate between the two, because the storyteller, again, Dave Filoni is a storyteller in the Tales. He's the storyteller in Ahsoka and some of the rest of this.
Okay,
right?
so let me ask you this question then. So Justin, he brought this up the other day. It's kind of a bad look that they showed us Ahsoka training like a badass, right? But then in season 2 of Mando, I know it's supposed to be some artsy type of fighting with her and that old lady or whatever the fuck. That's why that's the biggest disconnect with live action and animation. Like I see Ahsoka do these amazing things, and I'm not expecting it to be again one-on-one because it's live action, it's harder, but with animation, you just have way more leeway to get away with fantastical shit.
And also on this point, right, in the same interview X-Wing was talking about, which we should put it up, that 5-minute YouTube, right? What Favreau made it a point to say, I'm pretty sure it was Favreau. He said the Ahsoka series is a samurai series.
That was Dave. Yeah. So John and Dave were talking, and John had said, I'm really interested in doing something that's a Western, and that's how The Mandalorian came about. And then when Ahsoka came, it was like, I really want to do kind of my samurai story, which of course he's the fucking dude in a cowboy hat that's like, I love Japanese stuff. But
on Nikki's point, right? Ahsoka is not. She's not a samurai.
She's not a samurai.
Well, now she is. Matt, excuse you, bigot. Women can be samurai too.
What's up, Nick?
What up?
That's not the. Hey, Nick. But that's not. Again, we're getting Filoni, right? And whether we like it or not, whether we like that progression of canon,
that progression,
that retelling of this, right? This gets a lot of folks very butthurt, right? It's fluid. Fluid is the word folks use, right?
I don't want it to be fluid. I need this to be. And just like Carr said right here, I need Thrawn to be fucking perfect.
Kara and I were having this conversation in EBN's Discord, right? He needs to be perfect. But whose version of perfect? Is it
Timothy Zahn's?
They didn't want to let him fucking consult because that's who they are. They're fucking assholes. They're like, oh, your creation, no thanks. We don't need your fucking input.
You're not getting it. This is what I mean. This is why I don't want him in Andor, right?
Okay, well then I'm gonna have a bunch of content to make when they drop him.
You're getting the Rebels Thrawn.
No, the cucked Thrawn, basically.
That's what you're getting, guys.
If I don't want to fucking happen.
You're
Matt. Here's my issue. They want to cook Thrawn. That's fine. I have my EU Thrawn. But my problem is going to be that they're going to make him the big bad. Thrawn is not the big bad. He has a fucking goal in mind. Spoilers for the fucking books. The stupid Gris, which is just a ripoff of you know what. But they're going to portray him either that or they're going to do some stupid dark side shit with Ezra, or they're going to have to go on a mission to find Thrawn. It's like, no.
Well, that's the big thing, right? We know the last time we see Thrawn, guess who he's with?
Space Marine.
They're gonna tie that in together. I don't know how it's gonna go. I mean, the bottom line is I don't actually know who's writing the Thrawn stuff. Do we know?
It's not Timothy, and that's all that fucking matters.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there.
What do you mean by the Thrawn stuff?
I mean, he's gonna make an appearance at some point. Do we know who's doing any of the writing for him?
Filoni doesn't care about Thrawn either.
Oh, it's Filoni?
It's the whole Filoni thing. Yeah.
Filoni has literally said that the only reason he brought Thrawn in is because he knows he's a fan favorite, and they basically needed somebody in Rebels. It's like, shit. I'm angry because I'm hungry.
No, this is why I'm saying you should expect the same Thrawn we saw in Rebels. Which again, I understand it's not Zahn's Thrawn, it's not the book's Thrawn. That's the Thrawn we're getting.
You remember what Timothy Zahn said at ICC Con?
Every moment of every breath of every second that man spoke. Yes.
Yeah. For those of you that weren't there, he was basically saying if Filoni's doing Thrawn, we're gonna get a good Thrawn. And I was like, I hope.
Bro, he signed a contract.
Tim, I'm going to have to disagree with you here.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, from the outside looking in, obviously Filoni was brought in by George himself. So everybody's going to automatically assume that he respects canon, which we all know is bullshit. But he has the knowledge. The problem is that he just wants to do things his way as long as it elevates Ahsoka. And that's the fucking truth. Like, he couldn't even do Mando without fucking bringing her in, or Book of Boba. Like, fuck.
Well, he really has definitely like his childhood vision of what Star Wars should be, and I think he was definitely kind of like the anime kid growing up. If I had to take a guess, he was kind of that guy.
He did
And
Avatar, didn't he?
he really likes to work that. I mean, he puts it on the veil of like Akira Kurosawa, and I want to make samurai films, but I think it's really more kind of that aspect that he's working at, and for me it lands for a lot of people, and I think it works. There was that one episode of what's it called, the Mandalorian, where they did the showdown in the town, right? And that was very much like a western and a samurai
Wait,
film.
which time? Because they've done that shit a million times. What are you talking about? Which show?
What's up, Ryan? How you doing, brother?
What's up, Ryan?
Super sticker. I can't even see the sticker.
So again, what we do or don't like about Filoni, right? I always talk about my barriers to entry, right? One of the barriers to entry right now is Filoni is our George Lucas, right? For
Not me.
Well, listen, Linda, honey, for this time frame,
Yeah, I
he
get what he's saying.
is George Lucas, right? So you have to either accept that, or you have to be like, motherfucker is changing things again. We're forgetting Filoni, and these things are happening. Or you have to be like, okay, he's the guy, right? And that's a hard thing for folks to reconcile.
I
right?
just
It's
feel like
hard.
he's got a lot of people fooled. He was like, you know what? I am George Lucas's apprentice, and I am the end all be all when it comes to what should go on in Star Wars.
I'll say this. I used to be a Filoni fan, right? And I've seen almost every fucking interview that guy has done. And I don't doubt when he joined, obviously he had the best intentions, but George left a long time ago, and he's left to his own devices. He has the freaking lore. Everybody calls him the master. So eventually it's just gonna be, well, I'm gonna do things my way then.
And I see the chat. You know, Phil Hawkins, George is greater than Filoni, and Cody.
Everybody agrees with that. It's just
all of this stuff. I get it, right? But I hate to break it to everyone that's watching. George is not fucking coming back.
they consider Filoni the George.
No.
So we either have to get behind the fact that this motherfucker is the next best thing, or I don't know what to say. Right? Because he's certainly better than someone who knows nothing. Right? That's what he's not coming back.
Well, okay, so this is what I talked about with Felicity. Notice how when he goes back to animation, back to the Clone Wars era, all of a sudden, Ahsoka stuff being excluded, everybody loved the Dooku shit. That's his strong suit. Obviously, that's what he
Clone
started
Wars
with.
era stuff, man.
But they're not, I feel like they're just giving him, I know this is going to sound ironic, but too much fucking freedom to the point that at least don't break your own fucking canon over and over again. Because fine, you don't have to adhere all the time, but you're going to turn the shills that you brought to your cause against you too. Because they'll be like, why the fuck am I reading this then? Oh, I love this part of the book. Why didn't you like do this part? So it's going to end up, you know, people are gonna be pissed.
This is the one thing I'll say, and we'll take a look at the interview really quick to hear what they had to say from the horse's mouth. But essentially what they said was, you know, we really want to honor what came before and make sure we bring all the old feelings from old Star Wars. We want to bring that back. But we've built so much lore around the stuff that we've done. We want to build on that now. I don't know if did you catch that, Rissman? And so essentially it just kind of feels like there's definitely a departure from what Star Wars was. And I think, you know, kind of in a really weird, small subconscious way, they basically said like, hey, we're moving on, kids. We're moving on. This is our universe now, and we're going to tell stories based on the canon that we've created.
It was a very harsh break, right? This is the same conversation I was having with Ghost Rider in your comments in one of the videos, right? You know, he's like, I didn't like the Yaddle retcon, the Yaddle death retcon, right?
What's up, everybody?
What's up, bro? And
Yeah,
I'm like,
finally get to talk to you guys.
I'm like, what retcon are you talking about? And he's like, well, the way she died, blah, blah. I was like, well, that was never canonized. He's like,
The way
well,
that Yaddle died?
yeah. He was like, well, I read a lot about it, you know, and this, that, and the other, and the way she sacrificed herself. I was like, that's a great story, right? But the way things happened, I was like, that's not canon, right? And that's where we have this problem, right? Which is there's so many great stories, right? And there's so many great backstories that we all love. that are not a part of the current canon. It's tough. It's really, really tough.
It's a great point, Matt. And I do want to say I agree with you. I'm worried about Thrawn coming in eventually because he's just. When I read the Heir of the Empire when I was younger, I was in like middle school when I read it. One of my favorite books series I've ever read, and I really want them to just do him right. I mean, I even like some of the stuff from the new Timothy Zahn. I like how smart he writes him and things like that. Kept that the same. But I'm just really hoping, like, if he's coming in, I'm a little bit worried, especially after Kenobi show. Another one of my favorite characters.
Nick, are you standing in front of an air conditioner? What are you doing?
No. That's
I just wanna
that's
give
my
a shout
fan
out
down
to
on
Nick
my
real
floor.
fast.
Driving down the highway right now, sticking your phone out the
Oh,
window.
he's-
Echo Base Network. I found X-Wing through you guys. And
Oh, sweet.
yeah, Nick, I've been watching you guys for a while. I love your documentary on the sequel trilogy. I thought
Awesome.
it was
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I actually found you guys from I think it was that old Star Wars Theory charity stream.
He wants
Oh,
you to
yeah,
sign his
yeah.
winky.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so Nick, this is Roland New in the live chat.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, hopefully we'll get this LucasArts one out at some point in time after the first of the year. I got to schedule
Awesome.
recordings for everybody, so we'll be working on that.
All right, stay on target, pilots.
So X-Wing can
Wait, before you go, I have to take off.
Oh, all
I have to
right,
take off.
all right.
Yes.
Bye, Nikki.
There you go.
Bye, guys.
Yeah,
Bye,
Nikki.
Nikki.
Thanks for
I'll
joining.
see you
Hey,
guys.
the link to Nikki and Felicity's channel is in the chat. Make sure pop over there and subscribe. We got 34 people in here. If you pop over and subscribe, that's 34 more people. They got a young budding channel, so make sure you pop over there and drop a sub. I forgot what I was going to say.
Absolutely.
I am going to have to bounce here shortly too, because me and Coach are going to be watching Andor episode 8 finally.
It's about time.
And
There
then
you go.
I'm gonna watch tonight I'm gonna watch John Kakaza edited all of Tales of the Jedi into one long movie.
Man, that's a
I
I
popular
was
thing to
hoping
do
somebody
these
would
days.
do
Huh?
that.
Yeah, so I got that, and I'm gonna watch that tonight. So I'll be ready for tomorrow night's show because I still haven't seen episode 8 of Andor, and I still haven't seen Tales of the Jedi. So
Go.
Awesome.
Tales of the Jedi is going to take you about 45 minutes. You'll be all right.
yeah, I heard it wasn't
It's
that
pretty
long.
short.
Yeah. It was
But
good.
just listening to y'all's conversation, I'm kind of in agreement on the whole Thrawn thing. And Filoni and Favreau are writing Ahsoka, so they are going to be the two writing Thrawn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
X, you want to play that 5 minute? You got that 5 minute?
I mean, we can look at it. Yeah, I'm sure I'm probably already copyright stricken anyways, so might as well.
No, it's not. It's an Entertainment Weekly thing. You won't get copy struck on it.
Oh. I feel like we need to fast forward though, because there's a lot of stuff that like really doesn't mean anything at all.
No, you do it.
Okay, all right. Let's present, shall we? Share tab audio. There we go. Okay. So this friggin' guy. Let me do this. Actually, hold on. I'll full screen it. There we go. Let me turn my music off. Hold on. All right, take us away.
All around this world that George Lucas built, and all of us loving Star Wars and wanting.
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually I almost landed directly where I wanted to land with these guys talking about this because I think this is. I don't believe them. That's what I'll tell you.
that are all sharing one another all around this world that George Lucas built, and all of us loving Star Wars and wanting to contribute to that world.
You know, Star Wars is a great moment that expresses it. Is like when Mando looks at Baby Yoda for the first time. That's Star Wars. That feeling.
Agree or disagree?
They still call him Baby Yoda and not Grogu.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know. That's an interesting one because I did like not that I didn't feel anything for that. I felt that it was definitely emotional.
For new entrants into the franchise who've entered via Mandalorian, I think the comment is spot on.
Well,
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
It's about the interpersonal stories of Star Wars,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, don't get
for
me
the
wrong.
rest of us who were like, or maybe I'm just projecting myself, right? Which is Grogu is a marketing crutch and it's over merchandised and the rest of it. We're kind of like, well, no, I mean, it's a great plot point.
I mean,
Or it was until
You know
Book of Boba Fett,
You
when
know
he
what
got
it was
sent
for me
back.
for this episode? I'm going to push the exact same time frame. What I think is Star Wars is the moment that Luke Skywalker walks through the fucking door and puts his saber back on his hilt.
Yep.
I'm like, and then
Absolutely.
I'm like, that's also emotional, but let's focus on what's
I
important here.
I was cry laughing.
Yeah,
Literally.
it was beautiful, beautiful. But again, yeah, I think, and just like, hi Emily, how's it going? Just like Emily's saying, you know, it's the interpersonal relationships of Star Wars that matter, and I think that is honestly one of the most important parts of Star Wars is the people that we connect with in the stories, as is the same for any story that you write. You have to be able to resonate with the people that you're talking
And
to.
so while the bigger galaxy and the starships and the space battles and all those things are happening, it's those deep personal connections between characters. So those are the things that you try to replicate, get a feeling of Star Wars. And you're always talking about, you know, how do you expand that galaxy beyond what it was, but keep and maintain the heart of you know, what you saw originally.
Thoughts?
Nothing has really got to me like how it
I
did
see a lot
originally.
of this is what I see. See a lot of this.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of this.
Yeah.
It's tough for me. I don't, as a person, I don't like Dave Filoni.
But you have.
I don't have to fucking do anything. I just don't like him as a person.
No, I
line.
can understand that. I mean, you got to separate the person from the creator.
And I do.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
thing.
Bullseye, right? I
totally can.
You don't have to like him as a person.
Yeah,
right?
just like what he
You
makes.
have to respect him as the future of the storytelling in this franchise. Or
I trust John more than I trust Dave.
I actually
Same,
kind of
same.
I kind of feel that because John always, I mean, look what he did with Marvel when he first got his hands on Iron Man.
How dope was Iron Man, dude? Yeah.
Yeah, the first Iron Man movie was awesome. Then he goes to Star Wars and makes Mandalorian season 1, which was, I think, spectacular. I mean, I think
I would have agreed.
Episodes were better.
I would have agreed with you all if it wasn't for Book of Boba Fett, which
yeah,
was
exactly,
bro. That was
on Jon Favreau.
That was a big blow to my confidence in Jon Favreau. I'm not gonna lie. I can't deny that. But even still, I think that dude is gonna take that and be like, "Oh, I fucked up."
Yeah, exactly.
I think our best way forward is them together. It's not just Jon Favreau. It's not just Dave Filoni. It's
you best remember, bro.
And I think it's in the same interview. They talk about our offices are next to each other. We have whiteboards. We're drawing things out. That's why I said in another Discord, I was like, well, I hope
playing with action
never comes in and wipes that shit off, right? I hope it's a good whiteboard. But they're talking about it, right? They're like, we're together in this, right? And I'm like, I like to hear that. I don't know if you fast forwarded because I've watched this interview so many times, right? I don't know before or after, but they're like we're peanut butter and jelly, right? In this whole enterprise. And I think that's very important.
Hey guys, Coach just texted me. He's ready to knock this out before he hits the sack.
Why don't you tell Coach to stop being a jerk and come say hi on late night?
I told him.
How many times have I hosted your damn show?
He literally just got home though. He hasn't been home.
Wait. You stay, Nick.
I think Rissman's been drinking. He's like, you just wait a second. I'm going to get him on the show. You understand? It's happening.
Coach told me to send him the link. I could just send him the link to this
Send him the
StreamYard.
link.
Yes, send him.
Yeah,
I wanna
dude,
say hi to
punk-
him.
you got to
You
punk
do.
his ass. Punk
You
his
send him
ass.
that link. You send
And
him
then-
because I said, okay.
and then when
yeah.
he and then when he
Get him
tries to
here for a
dip out,
second.
make him feel horrible about it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Keep
Let's
going.
keep this going.
The touchstone's always George. I look at George's movies. I look at the things that he was interested in, and I try to fold that into a bit of what I'm doing.
I
and
like
what
this
John and I are
language.
doing.
I just
Skeleton
don't
Crew is
believe
great
it.
because it was me and John Watts when we're on the set of Spider-Man. I was just sort of sniffing out if it's something he might be into doing. He's like, I have a whole idea for what I would do, and we were just talking
We're
on
talking
the set.
about
and I
Skeleton
called
Crew right
Dave
now, by the way.
I was out in Atlanta. I'm like, Dave, this sounds really good. You want to listen to this idea? That sounded good. We hopped on a Zoom call. They pitched through what it was, just the very basic strokes. I was like, this is great. It focused on young people. It's always good to have new characters coming in. And there are so many different tones now in Star Wars. You know, you have Andor that, is intrigue and a thriller. You know, you have adventure. You have with The Mandalorian, samurai adventure with Ahsoka. So to have this young Amblin feeling movie with young people seeing it for the first time, who grew up in the Star Wars world and are exposed to adventure, the puppets, the costumes,
I'm worried about that.
About which part?
I'm worried about the part where he says, hey, we finally get this show that's for the young people. I'm like, well, probably not gonna like that one.
So I've been watching Meg's coverage on that,
hmm
and
Who?
saying people are saying it's gonna Star Wars Meg. People
Who?
think it's gonna be
Be nice.
Be looking for Coach to pop in.
Who?
There he is.
Hey, finally, he's here.
You got punk, son.
I was sitting here finishing up these work tickets and getting the stuff ready for our stream, and I was like, all right, guys, I gotta bounce. Me and Coach are about to knock this out. And they're like, oh no, I told Coach he come in here. And I was like, well, he did tell me to send him the link. I could just send him the link to this.
I did text him. I warned him.
Yeah.
I warned him.
Just wanted to say hi.
I've been a long time follower. I love your work, man. So,
Awesome. Thank you, man.
This guy is Roland New, Coach. He's in our chat a lot. So,
Okay.
yeah, very happy to see
Pleasure
him.
to meet you.
nice to meet you too, man.
Yeah, we'll be live tomorrow night at 7:00 Central Time.
Man, they're in
Awesome.
here in
I'll
my
be there.
tiny ass community. Like everybody, we need it. Please come on by. Come on by, please.
Oh, stop. What are you talking
Trying to piss
about?
Coach off. It's not working.
I told him, I was like, he literally just got home.
He looks too tired for me to razz him right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm tired as hell.
He is never too tired for me to razz him.
You're the reason I came in. You're like, get in here. I'm like, okay.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate that, Coach. No, thanks.
You didn't invite me.
Hell no,
Rissman
I didn't invite you. All right, before you go, give me a quick synopsis. Are you excited for Skeleton Crew, or are you worried about it?
I don't think I'm worried about anything anymore.
That's fair.
I'm not worried about anything. It's like, you don't know what you're going to get. I will say this. Did you watch the 5-minute interview with Filoni and Favreau?
We were just
We're
doing
in
it
the
before you
process,
started.
yeah.
We were
Okay.
just doing it before you-
When I watch that interview, it makes me hopeful.
A lot of lip service. That's what I hear, man.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. That's
Yeah.
perfectly. I totally get that, and you might not be wrong.
Mhm.
But at least they're saying the right things, and they've demonstrated some. Confidence comes from demonstrated ability,
Right.
and they've demonstrated the ability to give us some great Star Wars.
Sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, they're learning from
Every
their
now and then.
mistakes because they've made some.
Yeah.
So that's what I hope that is going to happen.
Baby steps, right?
Yeah, George Lucas wasn't 100% on with all his Star Wars content either.
Yeah.
I love the Christmas special.
I mean,
All right.
we did get Jar Jar.
Fucking love Jar Jar too, man. Come on.
Man, my camera is like ghosty.
Yeah, you're looking a little grainy.
It's sort of like got
slowed
like
in
a
for a
filter
second, then
on it
came
or something.
back as like, ooh.
I was
Did you have a
wondering
green
if you had like a
screen going or anything?
smoke machine or something.
Well,
There it is.
Oh, there
there
it
it
goes.
is.
We got it. Sometimes you just got to hit on it. You just got to hit on it.
What'd you have plugged into it?
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's much better.
No, it was good. It
Ah.
was good until you did that. Now we got it. Yeah, you're good.
Now that we got Coach's camera figured out.
it's like close up, Coach.
There you go, guys.
It's full screen, Coach.
It's perfect.
You see my nose hairs.
Look at that.
What do you got? You Colgate man? What do you
Come on now, don't do him like that. I told him
That's
to
better.
show up and
He's
you're
looking
like,
better.
"Hey, put him like that."
That's great.
So I've got the Philips Hue lighting, and I was getting ready to play Diablo, and the lights in the room changes with the scenes in the game.
Oh, cool.
So
You're such a
Oh,
nerd.
that's pretty
I love
cool.
yeah, it's nice. I like it. So like when fire explosions happen, the whole room poof like turns orange real quick.
I'm so
You know,
glad to know
see-
that there are people like me that are never going to grow out of this. You know what I mean? Just
What
keep
the
it
hell
going.
does that mean?
We're never going to grow out of it. Being a nerd.
No,
It's
never.
beautiful.
I think you just called me old.
Well,
we are old.
Oh,
I am the oldest person here. Again, just to make sure we're clear on this.
And let's remember, he showed up to my wedding in a Star Wars button down. So
I
God
am
bless you,
the
brother.
oldest
Let's go.
person I've
Nice.
years.
So before me and Coach jump over and finally watch Andor episode 8, what would you guys say with us going into it for the first time?
Man, without spoiling anything,
Yeah.
keep your expectations low.
Yeah.
no problem.
But
We're there.
my expectations are low all the time with Disney Star Wars. So.
All right. Well,
Huge,
pretty
huge,
low.
huge.
Look, I called Nick. I said, "Are you ready to watch this?" He goes, "I don't know, man. You sound pretty tired."
So I have to
It's
say,
57 minutes.
listen,
Oh wow!
listen,
Linda.
honey, it's only for you. This episode of Andor is the biggest homage to George Lucas they've done yet, and
I would agree.
I
And the
can agree
way
with
they
that, yes.
did it is chillingly horrible, right? As an Empire guy, and Nikki and I were talking about this earlier. I'm like, she's like, I'm, the Empire is so very sinister in this series, and what you'll see them do in this episode is amazingly chilling, but well, not quite chilling in that way. But this is the biggest homage to George Lucas that they've done yet, and it's certainly not for everyone, and I can't say we'll have to talk about it further after you all watch it. But I'm like, I text X-Wing, I'm like I'm a little bit traumatized after watching this episode.
You had me intrigued after you said I'm traumatized after watching this episode. Let's not ruin it for him, though. Let's not ruin it for him.
I don't want to. Just want to say something quick to add on to Matt's point. No, it was. I would agree with you. I would say that the way they portrayed the Empire in that episode was really powerful.
There's some THX love in there.
Yes,
THX
exactly. That's what I was
11,
thinking too.
Oh, okay,
But-
I got you.
It was pretty cool.
But
I mean, like we said, don't expect much, but it was cool.
In the
It
same
was-
vein, it feels a little
Retro?
No, it feels a little much, right?
Okay.
They've really gone.
All right, don't cultivate their expectations going in.
No,
Just let them
no,
do it. Just
I'm
let them watch the damn thing.
No, we'll watch the review.
I'm just saying it really shocked me. I haven't been shocked by any Disney Plus Star Wars content until this episode, and I found myself reflecting
Didn't you watch
on
Book of
it.
Boba Fett? You were shocked at that.
It had a very one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
When that lizard went up the nose, I was shocked.
I was
Okay, yeah, I was pretty
flabbergasted.
shocked by that. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, we're doing nose drugs now. Okay.
No, you all go.
I was shocked when I saw Bix half naked.
So I'm officially excusing Coach and Nick to go and experience Andor episode 8, and then I'll be very curious to see how you all react to it because
He built it up too much. Just go enjoy it.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure I've overbuilt it, but I'm still thinking about some things in it. I'm kind of like
Tomorrow night, it's going down.
Well,
I'll be in chat, but I'm not going to be in town.
Okay.
Okay.
I might show. I might show.
Right.
Yeah, I've got somewhere to be, but I'll pop in.
Sure.
All
I'm
right.
gonna put some more stuff in the show notes. We'll be good.
Oh hell no, we're good.
No worth it. No worth it.
we got plenty. All right, gentlemen, y'all have a good night. I'm gonna
Enjoy.
go
Nice to
make myself a
finally
cup of
meet you,
coffee. and
Let
watch
the
Andor.
poor old buggers cane their way to the coffee machine before they go watch the show.
Yep.
They got
X-Wing.
a long walk.
I'm happy to know you, man. You're I'm not even bullshitting. I love you, dude. Like you're a real friend. I appreciate it.
It's been a good ride, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, are we done? Is that
Nah, he's good. He's good.
okay? All right.
I might be back. I don't know.
Y'all enjoy.
Whatever. Whatever.
I still remember when you called me. You know what? That's a story for another time.
No, not now.
Yeah,
No, don't do that. What'd I call you?
it's a story for another time. No, you called me on the phone. Not what you called me. You called me on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, long time ago.
I texted you today.
I know. I'm saying there was a reminisce story. You were like, man, it's been nice to know you. And I'm like, man, I remember this one story. This one time I was like 9 hours away from my hometown in the middle of nowhere. And you called me and it's a story, but it's a story for another time.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but
You were trying to get permission to make fun of my mustache.
oh yeah.
You remember? I was like 12 hours out of town. You called me like, hey, brother, I just want
I
you to
made
know.
one hell of a
I really
video
like it,
too.
but I just want you to know. And I haven't gotten my series for the mustache making fun of since then.
I didn't think you really liked it.
I thought it was great.
And
It's great
I
for
don't
the
think
program.
we even have it anymore. Like I think it's gone.
What was it called? It was like Adventures of a Baby Mustache or something like that.
I don't remember.
But Coach, you failed because the mustache came back and it still looks awful.
Stronger than ever.
He looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fuck
He
you,
looks-
Rissman.
He looks great in his little Fruit of the Looms.
It's Haynes, you son of a
Oh,
bitch.
it's-
All right, we're getting off
Like,
topic.
get out
We
of
gotta,
here.
Sorry.
we gotta
Yep.
get back to Star Wars.
Yeah, Coach, I'll send you the real link here in just a second.
Yeah.
All right,
Nick, nice to meet you. Coach, nice
Yep.
to meet you.
guys. You too, bro.
Yeah,
Good,
nice
good
to meet
hanging
you,
with
man.
Guys in
you.
chat.
Y'all take it
Have a
easy.
good
See
night.
y'all. All right,
See
See
bye.
you
y'all.
guys.
Hey, X-Wing, do we
All right,
want to
bye. See
Couple
y'all.
of
Bye, Coach.
ruffians.
take care?
All right, see y'all. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
X-Wing, we want to try.
Yep. Y'all take it
I said-
easy.
Why is he still
Get outta
here? Can we not
All right.
get rid of him?
Y'all,
I can
y'all.
click
See y'all.
move. I've
Bye.
got-
Can we not get the cane and get rid of this guy?
Got
Bye,
my
guys.
finger on the trigger, but I want to see where it goes.
Bye, guys. See y'all. Y'all
See
be
ya.
good.
Thank you.
Y'all be good.
Kick his ass.
God,
Bye.
every time
Duh.
they come on his channel, it's,
You kick me. You kick my dog.
Why did you kick my dog? Get the fuck out of here! Jesus Christ!
Wait, X-Wing, do we want to try?
Oh, I almost added him back on right there.
No, don't stop, please. Do we want to pop anyone else in? Is there any other
Yes,
pop-
anybody who wants to
popping
come in.
people?
Anybody who
Yeah,
wants to come
cool.
in is welcome. Yes.
But how do we tell them to come in?
Here. In the chat. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
All right.
Word.
Kind of a wild late night tonight, I guess.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for
Getting a
having me
little
on.
warm in here. Oh,
I'll be-
hey, we
I'll
got
be
our
right-
first.
I'll be-
We got our first random pop-in. Hello.
He's back. This guy's out of here.
Hey, it's good.
Oh no! Get him out of here.
I hit the wrong link.
Get him
I
out
gotta
of
leave.
here.
All right. Bye.
I'll be right back. Oh my god! Don't
know
let
what's-
him back in. I'll be right.
You know what's
back.
awesome about that?
What?
I don't have to
Look,
worry
I got
about.
this picture. I got this picture.
I don't have to have my little twerk video on the internet anymore.
Oh,
Now it's
there
just
you
gonna be
go.
Coach. My God, that man is hairy. What's up, Ghost? No, I totally agree.
Oh, there we go. What's up, y'all?
What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
So,
My eyes. What in the Wookiee? Dot, 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 dot. Look, I'm sorry, everybody, that you had to see that. I don't know what Coach has been drinking, but I don't think it was coffee.
Well, I'm glad I missed it. I was jumping in the StreamYard when that happened, I guess.
Yeah, well, Coach didn't have a shirt on there for a second, so. Welcome
You
to
gonna play
late
some
night.
stripper music?
No, we're good.
Aw.
So, anyways, we were talking about Star Wars. Specifically, we were talking about Thrawn. We were talking about Tales of Jedi. We were talking about all kinds of stuff.
Nicky being salty.
Do
Everybody
anything to
being
get us back
salty
on
at Dave
track.
Filoni.
Please, for the love of God, get us back on track. Anything. Start whatever you want to talk about.
Like I was listening to y'all. Everybody's like,
Just name anything Star Wars.
So, I enjoyed Tales of the Jedi, but I could have done without all the Ahsoka, like most of you.
Seems to be a
I enjoyed the
reoccurring
Dooku. Yeah, I enjoyed the Dooku and Qui-Gon stuff mostly. I didn't like Rissman was saying earlier. We actually had this conversation in the comment section of the video. I did not like how they quote unquote retconned Yaddle's death because I liked the death that she had in the comics.
Right.
Where she sacrificed herself to.
I like that as well.
Oh, okay, hold on. We got a bad echo. Oh, it was John. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, where she sacrificed herself to save Anakin. Like I preferred that death. As far as like Dave and John go, Dave seems to have this thing for his characters. Like Ahsoka and Bo-Katan, and and he's got he's I think what it is like he just doesn't want to see his characters fail. Now with Bo-Katan has already failed on several occasions. She's a terrible leader.
I thought you meant like as a character loved by people. I'm like, I think everybody loves Bo-Katan.
No, I just like. I love Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar.
Yeah.
When I found out that she was the voice actress when I was younger, and then I found out that she was going to be in Mando, that just completely changed everything. I was like, all right, I like her a lot more now.
Oh yeah, Katie Sackhoff is a darling. I love Katie Sackhoff. I've had the pleasure of speaking with her before. She is so awesome.
I don't think they're going to make her the bestest Mandalorian ever, but I think she's she's a threat. She's a dangerous chick.
Yeah.
She's a dangerous chick, and that's something that I've loved that John has done with. And I almost made a video about this today. I almost made a video about it because I was thinking about Galadriel and Rings of Power, and then I was thinking about the girls that we've gotten in Star Wars minus Rey. And I'm like, dude, they have done well with female characters in Star Wars, with the exception of Rey. They've done well with those female characters, and I like them. I like all of them. I really do. I like Fennec Shand. I like Bo-Katan. I like Cara Dune. They're all doing very well as female characters. And then you watch Rings of Power, and I'm like, fucking Galadriel. God, I hate that.
And I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan. I've read all the books.
That is not Tolkien.
I did not even touch this show after I saw the trailers. I was like, I would just watch reviews every week from multiple different people.
I'll be right back.
But House of the Dragon to me is just miles better personally. It's so different for one of my favorite characters.
Right.
What a time we are living in. What are these times that we are living in when a George Martin property is getting more views than Tolkien?
Exactly.
But then again, that's not Tolkien. So you know what? It makes sense.
It's just. I mean, anybody who likes it, I'm glad that you guys like it. Like that's totally fine to me. It's just as somebody who grew up like reading the books, like I had my grandfather read them to me. I've got the books from the 70s still, and it's just not like, I don't know. It's so completely different that it just kind of throws me off. Like it doesn't feel like Lord of the Rings to me or Middle Earth.
So can we ask someone? I'm so happy there's finally someone here that's older than me. Can we ask John Graber?
Wow.
Don't let that fake blonde hair fool you. Can we ask someone that's older than me? What do you think about? You watched The Rings of the Power?
No,
Didn't watch it.
I've seen the Lord of the Rings. Was it 3 of them? Like when they came out, I think. And
Yeah.
I would like to watch them again though.
If
No,
you do
no,
watch
Rings of
it,
Power is garbage.
We're talking about this Amazon Prime Tolkien series.
Right.
Which okay, you let me down. You're still old, but you let me down.
if you do watch Lord of the
It
Rings,
had so much potential, even with just the 30 pages of the appendices. They had so much potential, and they squandered it.
exactly.
Just squandered it.
It could have, dude. They should have done the Fall of Numenor, and then from there, I mean, I don't know if anybody knows about this, but excuse me, Fall of Numenor, and then from that point on, like Sauron's rise to power, and then end it with the battle of like the
What the
last
hell are we
alliance.
doing talking about Rings of Power still?
Well, I thought John Graber would have an opinion as the old fart here. He's like, I never watched it, so I'm like, all right, no, it didn't work.
Yeah, and then Ghost Rider had something to
I
say, and I
watched
just
Star Wars on YouTube. That's all the time I got.
I leave
And
you
the
for
news.
5 seconds. And they're like, well, in the second age.
All right, keep going. Something other than bullshit.
yeah, something
fake
other than
bullshit.
that. We'll go back. To
Have we
Star
all
Wars.
seen Andor? Have we all seen Andor's season 8?
Yeah,
Or
we got
season
to
8.
Andor, 'cause
Episode 8.
Yeah,
We
we
got
talked about
distracted.
episode
Let's
8
get to
yet.
Andor, X-Wing.
Yeah, episode 8. So episode 8 of Andor. My God. Okay. Wow. So I mean, this is the problem when people give you expectations. So Rissman's like, man, this episode scarred me. I'm telling you. Okay. This is very damaging for me emotionally. I'm like, all right, what the fuck is gonna happen in this? What I was not expecting was a full Orange is the New Black Star Wars episode, right? But that's pretty much what we got there. You know what I mean? For me, this was the first time I think in this season where I didn't feel like it was very Star Warsy. Isn't that weird?
I disagree.
I mean,
It's
it was
odd, but
it's especially weird because it was original George Lucas through and through. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you feel like it wasn't Star Warsy, you might need to reevaluate your fan card.
shut the fuck
So
up.
I disagree with you, X-Wing.
I feel like it felt like old school George Lucas.
It did. And that's where I would agree is that it feels very much like George Lucas, but I was missing some form of a Star Wars element in the show. And I don't know exactly what it was. What might have even done it, even a small detail to be like, hey, by the way, the shit that you're building, they're the struts for the solar panels on TIE fighters. Right? Which it very clearly looks like. But I mean, just even that little bit would have kind of taken it a little bit more. But I have to agree completely that this very much feels like a George Lucas story.
Well, it doesn't really matter what they're building. The point is, the point of the whole prison scene is to show the brutal efficiency and malevolence that the Empire runs at. You know, like it's really brilliantly simple. They pit the cons against each other and keep them focused on each other rather than what the bigger picture and what's going on.
Oh, you know what it was? I think I know what it was. It was the Burton snowboard boots. When they get dropped off and they're wearing fucking highlight orange Burton snowboard boots. I'm like, really, guys?
Yeah, I remember I was watching somebody stream it, and they were like, "Are those crampons?" Like,
There have been a couple times in the show that I will say some of the stuff that they do when it comes to props have taken me out of it. So one of the things that took me out of it was the mask that they used when they were scuba diving towards the dam. The mask, for some reason, just kind of pulled me out of it. The AK-47 blasters, those took me out of it. The Burton snowboard boots in the prison, that took me out of it. I just feel like it would have been just as effective to use like your standard Imperial black moon boot to be like, oh well, they're rubberized on the bottom, we're not going to get shocked, that's why you're barefoot. It didn't have to be like these fucking crazy eccentric orangey boots. Like, you look dumb. I'm sorry, that's just me. If I was in the prop department, I'd be like, hey, this is a bad choice.
All right, so put that.
So have you seen? I'm sorry, Matt. So just a question. Have you seen the cold weather gear that military use?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they look like giant Mickey Mouse shoes, basically. I think that was kind of the thing that they were going for.
Well, on that point, why don't you just repurpose the ones that what were the troopers from Solo that had them?
The Mimban mud troopers?
No. The ones that were on the train, they had those thick boots. Why don't you just repurpose
the magnet boots?
They're magnetic boots.
Yeah. Well, they don't have to be magnetic. They just have to be insulated against.
Insulated, yeah.
But you got,
I think that, and I think that's what they were going for with the giant snowboard boots. I mean, they're already look insulated. What are you saying, Matt?
how the boots do or don't look is the least important part.
That's true.
This thing, right?
Absolutely.
What I think we're supposed to be getting out of this prison sequence is, Andor thought, okay, I'm just going to help. I'm going to get my part, right? I'm going to get my money on this heist. I'm going to get out of here or whatever. And what's happened is everything from there on is like, it's snowballed, right? And all of a sudden it's like, well, not only did I find myself in prison, but I doubled or tripled everyone's prison sentence, right? I helped the Empire commission, this clandestine thing that they were trying to do. That was all me. I radicalized my mother. All of these things that I thought had nothing to do with anyone else. It was all about me.
You watch your fucking mouth, Maria.
All of a sudden, here I am in this predicament, and I'm like, wow, I all the time doing my little petty stuff or whatever, this never happened to me, and now all of a sudden I've done all this. I can't tell these folks I had anything to do with Eldani and the rest of it. I'm kind of like, I'm like, wow. Not only did this guy fuck himself, he fucked the galaxy. Right. This chain of events that he set in motion, right, he's like, oh my fucking God. Right.
But that was Luthen's intent.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, it's fantastically written, right, from a whole. How did all this happen? Right. And
right.
Oh my God. Really? Amazing.
Agreed.
Just amazing.
What do you guys think about what Saul said at the end of that episode?
By the way, can we just give some props to Forrest Whitaker?
Of course.
In that whole
phenomenal, dude.
His lip was trembling. I wish we could play it.
Awesome.
In that dialogue, he's trembling.
The acting in this show has no right being as good as it is. Bottom line. It has no right being as good as it is.
Did this just happen?
I mean, you got Whitaker, you got fucking Serkis, you got Diego Luna. This is like, I mean, it's just.
When I saw Andy Serkis as a Lord of the Rings fan, I got so excited. I was like, okay, it's awesome.
You even had Cyril Khan say, can we never do enough for order? Right, the dialogue in this series is
the mindset.
It's just chilling, right?
It works.
It's really well written.
Yeah, Cyril. Cyril's definitely a true believer.
I don't know, man. I think there's a possibility.
Deidre is a true believer. Cyril is
Yes.
on the path
Cyril's
right
not.
now. We'll see if that path continues. Again, the writing is amazing.
Well, Cyril seemed as though when he was being interrogated.
Kara, take the microphone away from your mouth.
When he was being
Hello.
interrogated. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Cyril seemed as though he was kind of like perturbed.
Good morning.
By what they were doing to him.
Good morning. You have to pull the microphone away from your mouth a little bit. It's very, very loud.
Oh, it's far.
Is it really?
Yes.
You just have a very projecting voice.
And it's very possible.
Well, welcome. How are you?
Hi, Kara.
Hello. I'm fine, and I'm very excited about Andor.
Yeah, you're liking it?
Yes, I totally love Shangri-La party. And their drink. Oh, it was disgusting.
The Chandrilla drink? Rissman,
Yeah.
didn't
Yes.
you send me
Yes,
an article on that?
with the squibs in it. With the squibs. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't read the article.
I know
I'm
you
sorry.
never read.
No, I didn't read the article.
No, you
It was
never
like Chandrilla drink. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
It's John Graber. He never reads.
No.
nothing. Oh, Tim talk. What's up, Tim? Let's get Tim in here. Tim,
Yeah,
Tim's
pop in. Pop in, buddy.
He never reads anything.
That's not true. I read a lot. Just not what you sent me.
You need more pictures. That's what it is. More pictures.
If it was a picture book, it would have been a lot better. Yeah.
No, John, I read. And
That's
by the
good.
way, I have to say, speaking of reading, there was a great article that came out earlier today that was from the Hollywood Reporter, but it was Toby Haynes talking about his experience with Forrest Whitaker and some of the rest of the stuff that he did. It just went on and on and on. I was totally transfixed. And one of the things he said was, because the question was, what was your experience working with Forrest Whitaker? And he's like, oh my
insane.
God, what a professional, whatever,
Yeah.
Before we did our scene, he said he called me and he had a lot of questions about kyber crystals. And I'm like, what an odd thing for him to ask about.
Forrest had questions about Kyber?
He did.
Some Jedi shit coming, probably.
That's
And then
actually
he went
really
on
awesome.
about,
that could have been from
he went
Rabble,
on about
rabble. Sorry.
But Toby Haynes was like, he's like the best thing about his experience on the series thus far was having Forrest and Stellan Skarsgård together.
Oh my God, dude.
And he said the way they did that scene and the rest of it, he said it was just electrifying.
I would have been like sitting 5 feet off screen, just like
He was like, and everything we saw Forrest Whitaker again with the trembling lip and the commentary and all that. He was like, this guy is amazing.
Yeah, Forrest is great, man.
Amazing. So
Well, I'm gonna have to watch it again because I wake up early anyway, and I chose to watch Tales of the Jedi first.
John Graber, kick him out of this fucking stream right now. Kick
And then
him
we
out of here.
And then we
Can't
watched
do this.
Andor at night with Mandy, and I admit it was a little fuzzy. I have to watch it again.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Moff.
Yeah, I watched it back to back.
How
So,
could
and
you
then-
watch Tales of the Jedi first?
I grew
Oh,
up with
I
Clone Wars,
love
so, like,
Clone Wars.
it's a bit
I
different.
love,
for me,
I love
so-
Ahsoka. I'm just saying. Gonna put
I
it
used to
out
watch
there.
Clone Wars with my parents all the time, so like, I kind of just, I was like, all right, Tales of the Jedi is gonna be like an hour and a half. I'll watch Andor after. Hit them both back to back. Just
I actually believe it or not, now that I'm thinking about it, I banged out Tales of the Jedi before I watched Andor too.
Yeah, it didn't take that long. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of just watched all 6. I mean, half of them are like 10 minutes anyway, so.
Yeah.
And I love them.
I love them. I mean, I
Ooh,
think
that
the
would have
Dooku
done
stuff was
well.
awesome.
I think if they'd added some aliens into the prison, I think it might have done well. I think that would be a good, that would have been a good addition.
But the Empire didn't imprison aliens. You know what they did with the aliens?
They mated with them.
No,
they killed them.
The Empire was not about the aliens.
Yeah, they didn't like him. Very human centric.
I don't know. He was like xenophobic. That's the word you want to use.
It's a good word.
Yeah. No. Killed.
All right.
Yes,
Well,
the Empire does
we've been
not
going for
appreciate him.
We've been going for an hour and a half. Is there any topic anybody wants to touch on briefly? I mean, we haven't heard from you yet, really, Disney.
Oh, you're muted. Cobra, you're muted.
There we go. Wait.
Nothing.
I'm hearing something.
Still muted.
Nothing. That's okay.
Oh,
that's okay. That's all right. We'll get you in for it. Anything else anybody wants to say?
I just want to thank you guys for having me on. I mean, this is great.
Absolutely, brother. Yeah,
I would love to come back. I mean, this has been a lot of fun.
We might do some more pop-ins on late nights. They're fun.
All right, awesome.
What was that, go?
Circling back to Filoni. What? Somebody in the chat said that they're going to make Bo-Katan the bestest Mandalorian ever, which I admit I am worried that he might do that, and make the Mandalorian instead of about Din will be about Bo-Katan going forward. I
don't think so. Din's
wait, Tim's Talk is coming, and we got a new member. Is that?
You hear me now?
I see both of them. We're gonna thin the herd a little bit, and then we'll bring some other people in just to kind of keep the
Cobra did
rotation fresh.
Cobra.
You hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, no, I did like that dialogue between Saw Gerrera and Luthen. That was very good. Yeah, that to me, that was the highlight of the show. I love that.
I agree. Yeah, that was hot.
It was interesting what they were doing in the prison. When people were wondering, well, what are they making? It could be anything. It could be parts for one of the Imperial destroyers. It could be parts for the Death Star. It could be
Death Star. It's got to be Death Star.
I think so too.
They look like joiner joints on TIE Fighter wings. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just telling you right now. That's what it looks like.
No,
Le Kenobi. I just wanted to say, welcome to the family. This is what I want you to know. When you join my community,
I said hi.
When you join the community, this is what I want you to know, okay?
Please don't go this way.
I can show you the world.
I love that. That's one of my favorites.
Welcome to the family, Le Kenobi.
I think that's Kenobi from the Discord. I think that's Uncle Kenobi
we have.
from the Discord.
We have so many Kenobis.
No, I think that's Uncle Kenobi from the Discord.
If that's Uncle Kenobi, then you've already been here. But welcome again to the family. No, you're really in the family. You're my family.
Oh,
all right.
As far as the Tales, though, I actually enjoyed Tales. I really thought it was great. I've already seen it twice. The only thing I really wish they would have done with Ahsoka, like at the end of her first show, was after the saber-tooth tiger brought her back. How cool would it be if the Jedi flew in on the village and recruited her and took her?
I was kind of waiting for some LAATs, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But Dooku was.
Why would you not have the Jedi taking her away? Okay, all right. I got to take control of the stream. I'm sorry. We got to move a couple people out. We're going to bring somebody in. All right. Rolo new. It has been wonderful having you on. Ghost, as always, my brother. Thank you very much for being here.
All right.
Kara, is there anything you wanted to say?
Anything I want to say? I just want to
yes, it was nice to see you.
Oh, Kara.
It was nice to see you as well, Kara.
Yeah.
Thank you for dropping in.
And I love Andor. I love Deidre and her methods of gaining informations.
Yeah.
And I'm very interesting. Yes. It's very refreshing to see Imperium on its top, not like in Kenobi. That is joke.
Yes.
Okay,
agreed.
guys. Bye bye.
Okay, thanks, Kara. Bye. That was cool. All right, Roland, we'll see you
All right,
on the next one. Thank you,
See you on
brother.
the next one, man.
Appreciate it. Okay. All right, Ghost. I'm gonna try to run Sunday. I have to do some voice acting stuff on Sunday. Hopefully we can do a Hanger Bay, but we'll see what happens. Where Tim and Maria were asking, I just dropped the link in the chat so you can join that. Ghost, we'll see you next time.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
All right, take it easy.
Okay, and then there were 4, and then other people will join. Holy cow.
So
I'm running
what
out
about
of steam.
Dooku's?
Ugh.
Oh, come on. We're having a real stream, X-Wing.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? A real stream?
I mean, there's like a lot of people.
Good news, guys. We've got another opening here on late night, so please come and join the stream.
So now, what was your favorite?
Nice.
What was your favorite Tales of the Jedi episode?
Say again, General
What was
Graber?
your favorite Tales of the Jedi episode?
Sith Lord.
Is that when they go back to the works?
That's the one when Dooku officially turned to the dark side, and I love the time period that they had that. It happened during the movie of the Phantom Menace, and that was great. That was a good filler.
Number 4, right?
Yes.
Is that where they go to the works?
Yeah, they go to the
Where he
works.
kills Yaddle?
Yeah.
This was when Yaddle met her.
Yeah.
Final.
I'm not gonna lie. I
Canonized
honestly, when they
demise.
went to that, I thought that they went to Geonosis. That she. followed
No,
him to
that was the
Geonosis.
works. That was like their meeting spot, and
that's-
that was just
yeah.
it was almost like I don't know if verbatim's the word, but almost scene
Like
for
I said,
scene,
that's what I
right
thought
from
at
when they go to the
first.
works in the movie. And I mean, everything was the same. The door, the building, everything was the same. I loved it.
And I was surprised. Well, at that point, Darth Sidious showed up. I wasn't expecting that.
And that was Ian was voicing
it
him, by
was.
the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah,
It was him.
amazing.
Yep, that was
And what I like,
He's so invested in the franchise, right?
Yes, he is.
and what I also
so
like
amazing.
too is in the one episode with Ahsoka being overly trained with the clone troopers. Not only was that a good episode, but how cool was it to have the voice actors all reunited? You had Ashley Eckstein, you had D. Bradley Baker, Matt Lanter, and James Arnold Taylor, all of them together. That was they must
Liam
have had an
Neeson.
epic time.
And how they ended that episode.
That was Liam, right? I'm not crazy,
Yeah.
or was that the best voice actor in the fucking
not
world?
only was it Liam, but his son, his real son, played
Young
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Awesome.
I heard that.
Amazing. Amazing.
That is awesome, dude.
That's
I didn't
cool.
know that was Liam's kid.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
See, he doesn't
Who
have
is
the
that?
Irish that his dad has, though.
Who is this person that just
That's supposed to be Tim Possible.
All right. Where's Tim? He's not on camera.
We'll wait for him to come back in. He'll make it.
Yeah, no, that
Oh,
was
there he
his
is.
son. His son's name is
What's up?
Michael. There he is. That was his
What's up? What's
son.
up?
Yeah.
Michael
What?
Neeson? Wait, Neeson.
No, it's
That
not.
is hard to
his
say.
last name's not the same. That's why you wouldn't if you were just reading credits, you wouldn't recognize. But that was
Oh, interesting.
his biological son. Yeah.
Huh.
All right.
So
Tim's here. What's up?
What's up, Tim?
how's it going, everyone? Hello there. X-Wing,
Hello.
Moff, Cobra, and the guy in the corner. I can't read the bottom description. Sorry.
That's General John Graber. It's much
Just a
shorter
loser.
than you would expect.
Just a loser. That's all. Just a loser.
What a-
nice
what a-
gold blonde hair.
That was
It's not,
great,
it's not really blonde.
Speckling here.
All right, Tim. What's on your mind? Because X-Wing is
Okay.
itching to go. What's on your mind?
Okay, so we had
Just have
the
to eat
Mid Valley Shebanger, episode 6, right? We're on episode 8. So looking at this thus far, I've been covering this on Sunday, so general lack of interest. We've all kind of talked about this, right?
Maria, I think that's you with the echo. No, who is that?
No, it's Maria.
Hold on. I'm gonna find it. Is that it? Yeah, it was John. It's always John.
John Graber again with the echo.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tim.
Keep going, Tim. We're hearing you. Oh no. Oh, Tim left. It wasn't Tim.
It's like herding cats sometimes, getting everything going. All right. Well, I guess we got Maria. Maria, I muted you. I'm sorry. There you go. Oh wait, no,
Where'd
I can't.
Tim go?
Why
No.
can't I unmute you? Oh, they chose to mute themselves. Okay.
I chose to mute myself. Yeah.
Talk to me, Goose. What do you got?
I don't know. It's crazy how much you and I think alike because we thought the same about Kenobi. I really didn't care for the Ahsoka episodes.
Oh, you're talking about Tales of the Jedi.
Yes, can we bring it back to Star Wars?
I would love that. It's actually why I do this whole thing.
I was looking to hear what you had to say about Andor, by the way, but Tales of the Jedi is fine.
I love Andor. Andor was by far the best show on television. I completely agree. Me and Emily love Andor.
I think Hot D beats out Andor.
Well, I mean, now that it's done, House of the Dragon is done. We did get a season finale, so.
Yeah.
I have to say, honestly, not to get on a tangent, but I really did try, but I never got invested in the characters on House of the Dragon. But then I'm trying to think to myself.
What is wrong with you, man?
Listen again.
You have brain worms, okay? You are broken in your mind. You need to fix yourself.
No. I tried to think back to myself. Did I have the same reaction with Game of Thrones season 1? Is it a recency bias or whatever? But when I think about the shows that I watched together, which was House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, and Andor, right? I felt a much better connection to the characters in Andor, but it might have been a franchise bias.
Well, of course it is, yeah.
But I'm not saying that the actresses didn't do a great job in House of the Dragon. I'm not saying that it wasn't a great spectacle, right? But I'm kind of like, I found myself distracted, right, while I was watching it because I just never. Viserys was my favorite. And I knew he wasn't going to last.
He was good.
He was great.
He wasn't going to last. And I'm like, no, fucker didn't last. I'm still watching this because there's more episodes to go. I'm like,
I think what made House of Dragon so good was that it had an entire, 7 seasons of Game of Thrones to build the world up for you. So the world building was already done by games with Game of Thrones, right? So
I had 40 years of Star Wars building up.
Exactly. So that's it's franchise.
Well, did we? Because we took a lot of massive breaks in between. We all know this. They took like massive space gaps. They did. It's different with the difference between Game of Thrones. It was a cultural phenomenon, like Star Wars was, but it kept it going for like 8 to a decade, right? And then what House of the Dragon had an advantage of is that lore, bringing that fan base already in. They wanted to see good Game of Thrones. They wanted to see that story in which it did. It capitalized on it, and it was like, hey,
delivered.
Hold my beer, and it was freaking amazing. Like
it delivered.
It delivered. With Andor, what Rissman is saying is, I definitely dig the evolution of the brand. Like a lot of people are like, it doesn't seem like typical Star Wars and stuff. This is what the Star Wars have been waiting for. The extension of the brand. It doesn't have everything. Doesn't have to be so kiddie or be like dark humor like Thor Ragnarok. That's essentially to me what Star Wars seems like, or just like even goofier, right? With the Disney Lucas stuff, right? Or not Disney Lucas, but like like if you're born up on the prequel stuff, right? It was more kiddie than the OG stuff. That's my example. And the time we move on to the sequel stuff, it's even more kiddie. The time you move on to other stuff, it's more kiddie. So what I appreciate about this is it's taking risks, it's trying to evolve the brand, yes, it's a relatively a character. It's not Obi-Wan. One of the OG characters, Mon Mothma, is not an OG character. Let's be honest. She is, but she's not like a well-known. She's not Luke Skywalker. She's not Luke Skywalker, right? She's not like, Chewbacca.
She's not. She's a auxiliary character.
Yes, exactly. So the time we get to this, I appreciate the fact they're taking risks because I want to see Star Wars take risks. This is not the traditional Star Wars story. I appreciate the fact that they had to put Andor, a Star Wars story, like they did Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So I am digging that format, but it just like they got to do something different. I don't know, but like I think there's been a discussion this fact that since Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan didn't perform well, there's a stain in people's mouth about Star Wars, so they're not giving this a fair chance for what it is, right?
Right.
Do you think the same thing?
A stain in their mouth? You mean kind of like
emotional damage?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
A little bit of that.
I mean, I think they should have released Andor before. I mean, they had this in the can for so long, and I don't understand why it did not get released sooner. I think that if it would have been released 2 years ago, that it would have done phenomenal with the
This
fans.
should have
But
been
now,
Solo. That's my brain track. This should have been the Solo release. Would be Andor, maybe not as a movie, but even as a episodic release, I think it would have done a lot better.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, Solo was 2018. That was filmed many years. It wasn't even like a thing in 2018. Like Andor was just getting started then, right? But they had it finished, like post-production finished, right? Forever. And I think that if they would have released this before Kenobi, before Book of Boba Fett, people would have received it a lot better. I think a lot of it.
And then they would have been like,
I can see that.
Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi.
Don't hold a candle. Right.
Yeah. Well, we already do.
Yeah. And I think what it was, I mean, I how do I say this without saying it?
Just say it.
No,
Fuck
I
it.
can't. I can't say it.
Dude.
I can't say it. I can't. But let's just say the showrunner of Andor was told to sit down and wait, right? Because they hadn't even thought about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. Do you ever think
it's really rushed? And so they were like, well, Obi-Wan has to come first and this and that. And
how'd that work out?
Yeah, that didn't. So yes.
Yeah, what I want to bring up, like, do you ever think as like Disney Plus expands a brand, if you look at like Netflix and other stuff, they release different content. If you're looking at like the news cycle and in which they release stuff, so you can have like more Star Wars-esque stuff, like as far as like Obi-Wan or Boba Fett, but then you can have the more serious content that comes out later at night towards that niche marketing group. So, like, as they move forward, do you think they'll ever move towards something like that? Like, where they have the traditional stuff kind of like at the midpoints, but have it geared towards like this? Because this definitely seems more like not what my nephew would enjoy because there's no Baby Yoda in it, right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Right. So if, a lot of people say, oh, there's no way that this is better than The Mandalorian. But I beg to differ. I actually feel like Andor is the best.
It's 100% better than Mandalorian.
Apples and oranges.
Exactly.
Apples and oranges.
No, it's not apples and oranges.
It is.
No,
It is.
the only thing that
Even
holds
John and
Mandalorian
Dave
up-
just said that shit in their fucking interview. What are you talking about, huh?
I'm
You got
telling you, it's
brainworms
not.
in your head? All
It's
right.
not. I'm telling you why. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because, to be honest with you, if you took Grogu out of The Mandalorian, what would you have?
A good show.
You'd have the ship is broke down again. It's out of gas again. I can't get the guy again.
it's this
it-
repetitive.
Okay, so what happens when
wasn't
you
that
add in
interesting
Grogu? You're
of
like,
a
my ship's
story.
out of gas again, but now there's a baby Yoda.
There
Yeah,
is,
but
and
now I have
that's,
to
but that's
I
the
have to
appeal.
protect him so he's not eating the gal's babies.
Make
Right.
your point
I was
because
like,
you
what?
haven't
My-
made one yet. Just make your
my
point.
My point is that the Mandalorian has its crutches. Grogu is one, and Luke Skywalker is the other.
There's some MacGuffins.
You want to call Luke Skywalker a MacGuffin?
They're using him as a MacGuffin.
No, I'm just saying it has crutches where Andor has no crutches at all. It's not standing on anyone's back.
Yeah, it's on its own
Okay.
2 feet.
It's on its own 2 feet on the characters. I mean, you could say it's standing on Rogue One's feet, but that was his show. That was his movie. So, I can't really say that. But it really is kind of standing on its own, holding its own. And that's what, in my opinion, makes it better than The Mandalorian. And I was just saying, like, The Mandalorian's it's not like it's way, there's not a huge Mandalorian's up there. But for me, Andor is the best Star Wars show to date.
The problem isn't for me. The problem isn't one is better than the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Mandalorian is fun to watch, right? I have to say,
I said apples and oranges. He's like, no, that's not what it is. But also,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. All I'm saying is, Mandalorian's it's fun to watch, right? Yeah, we're into it. Andor is not fun to watch, right? It's a very heavy story, right? And all of a sudden we're like, fuck, this is not fun, right? We saw fun things, right, in the original trilogy, right? As it was romanticized. But what we're seeing now is like shit. I wouldn't want to live there, right? I wouldn't. This is not great. That's why I say it's a whole different. It
was like the 5 seconds of Solo that I liked when we saw Mimban, right? That was like the 5 seconds of Solo I enjoyed. I'm like, oh shit, this is Empire. This is bad. We shouldn't be doing this. That was what I enjoyed from Solo. And so now we get the show Andor and we're like, oh, hey, by the way, the Empire's bad and they should not be liked. And we're like, well, finally, we're conveying the message the way that we should be.
Yeah, but do you think the plot? But do you think the whole structure? Do you think your thoughts would be changed differently if this was in binge watch form for Andor? I strongly believe that if all the episodes were laid out to 1 through 12, our thoughts would be changed dramatically.
How?
Because what we're complaining about is the slow burn. That's not for everyone, but like what we see in a Cobra Kai model, whatever, this actually is deep meaning behind of what the Empire is, what the struggles are for Dedra, people like Serial are dealing with. It explores both sides.
See, I don't even feel like it's that deep, bro. Like, I really don't even feel like this story's that deep. I just feel like we finally got some decent storytelling. And so we're looking at it, we're like, this is the most mind-melding, crazy shit we've ever seen. I'm like, no, it's just like a decent story. You know what I mean? And so people are pissed off and saying it's a slow burn. I'm like, no, it's just a fucking TV show. Like, just watch it. Just shut up and watch it.
Well, that's because they're conditioned, they're action junkies.
Yeah, run and gun. I mean, fuck, you put Michael Bay in the spotlight for God knows how many years. We're like, I fucking love the Transformers. Like, of course. What are you gonna love?
Well, it's not
like
even
taking freaking heroin or cocaine or something. Instant gratification. I like
not-
a meal where I got to eat the appetizer first, and then they bring out the entree, and then they put, there's a little aperitif there, and then
right
give me some. I don't mind a journey. I want a journey. I'm okay with the journey.
I think if people actually understood the structure of the show, where it's a 3-beat show, so it's build episode,
build up, blow up, build up, blow up, build up, blow up.
Thank you. That's it.
People don't read fucking books anymore.
No, but the problem is the Disney Plus concept has desensitized folks to TV. The 6-episode nonsense doesn't help us here, right? Because this series is twice as long as the normal experience has been.
Oh, it's the
on-
normal size, you mean? Right?
On the Disney Plus. And us for old folks who are used to 18 or 20 plus episodes of television, right? So you go from 6 episodes, now we're going to 12 episodes, and people are like, it's a slow burn. I'm like, motherfuckers, it's not a slow burn.
It's a regular burn.
it's half as burned as a real television series would be.
Exactly.
But we've gotten so into it's got to be pushed to us in 6 episodes, right? That we're like, oh my god, this thing is just dragging along. I'm like, it's not dragging along, right? They're trying to actually tell a story in television.
Well, I
we
think
don't
a lot
get there anymore.
The problem is a lot of people are so like crazy starved and hungry for that Star Wars feeling that every episode they're waiting for that fucking payoff. They want the hit. They want the fix. They need that Star Wars thing to keep them hooked in, right?
And
if
I mean,
you don't get it every episode, if you don't get the fix, they're like, fuck this.
And let's be honest about that. That's one thing that The Mandalorian does very well. So now you've been
you get your
watching
fix just
every episode. It's every episode. It's locked and loaded, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what people have gotten used to.
No, what I like about the show, it gives the perspective as like actually being in the divide, right? 100%. The Empire and the Rebellion, right? The day-to-day job when we see Andor going through his struggle. When Andor in this episode was like got arrested for dumb crap, he was scoping out the territory. How am I going to get out? Like that's exactly what he was doing. And then just like it shows you like the real perspective, the human emotion. It's like just because you're in this situation of working for the Empire, I'm getting this vibe that not everyone just because they're working for the Empire is happy. They're forced to work for the Empire because that's the situation. They're making do with what they got. And that's what I'm digging about the human emotion as far as this season or series of Andor.
It's the doldrums. That's the bottom line. This is the doldrums. This is the shitty part of Star Wars. Nobody ever really.
Where'd he go?
We lost him. Muted.
No, it muted him.
Can't
hear you.
Can't hear you. On mute. Yes,
Can't hear
you. You. Yes, you. Can't hear you.
Oh.
There
now
you go.
we hear you. Now we hear you. Hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Verizon guy.
I was so. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Hear you.
What I was trying to say was, I feel like that's something that people don't like about the show so much is this is the doldrums. This is the shit in the Star Wars universe that's not exciting. It's not cool. Nobody wants to hear about tourists getting arrested on a beach somewhere or some shitty prison where people are building, which I still believe to be the joiners on a TIE fighter wing. I just think that's what it is. I could be mistaken. Could be something for the Death Star. I don't know. Look, all I'm saying is this show is not making... Fuck, how do I not insult people with this?
Just do it. Just do it.
This is not... It's not making basic Star Wars fans happy. Now, I have to be careful when you say that. You got to be really careful because there are a lot of people who love Star Wars for all of the different reasons, and they, some people just need to have Jedi and Sith in their Star Wars. Some people need to have, Rebels and X-Wings in their Star Wars and shit like that. But bottom line is, like, I just love the universe of Star Wars. I love everything about it, and I think a part of that comes from like the kids who read the books when they were growing up, and some of the books that we read were fucking boring as shit. Some of the EU books were just like, wow, this is not like super great, but you read it. You know what I mean? Like, you got through that shit and you learned about all kinds of species you haven't heard since you were in 7th grade, and you'll never fucking hear about it again. And so I think that kind of love for the Star Wars universe is a little different than somebody who just loves comics or just loves movies or just loves the animated stuff or anything like that. There's just kind of like a universal love for everything in the universe. And that kind of transcends this whole like Kathleen Kennedy battle against George Lucas, and it transcends like all the kind of minor petty shit that we hate and argue about constantly. Like the EU kids, I'm with you. Andor is fucking great. It's just different.
So on this point, I'm with
Sorry
you.
for the rant, by the way.
No, the rant is perfect, right? Because what I was going to say is, as much as I love this series, I think about it always under the context of how does this bring new fans into the franchise? And I have a really hard time of it, right? Thinking about so what does a new Star Wars fan look like who
100%
enters
Georgie
the
girl.
franchise from Andor? Is it Andor, Rogue One, the original series? I like we talked about earlier, like who was Tales of the Jedi made for? Who is Andor really made for from a fan's perspective? Because I'm really struggling to see. Yes, I get it, but we're all already fans, right?
Mhm.
So I always one of Matt Rissman's things, right, is always how is everyone agreeing about it, right? How controversial is it the same? But how does it bring new fans?
Okay,
into the franchise? And I'm
Well, to
struggling
me,
with that.
Rissman, it's a kiss to the fans from the OG, like all of us have talked about. Obviously, I don't think I'm quite in that market, but I'm as I grow older, I'm kind of moving to that market.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like if this series hits at the finale and the way it's going, I think it's going to still confidence. Because I don't want to call us gatekeepers, right? But as we move forward, because we didn't like the other series overall, I think this will distill confidence in the product of showing quality. And once they win us back or whatever, hopefully this will bring the masses back of the other product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our friends.
I'm with you, but we're dying. This sounds so morbid, right? We're dying, right? So I'm like, how does this bring? How does this bring a young person to the franchise?
It doesn't, and it wasn't made for that. It doesn't, and it wasn't made for that. The only TV show, I'm gonna lay it down for you, brother. Okay, the only TV show that it was meant to bring in new fans is Grogu's show. Period.
Which they've worked into Kenobi and Boba Fett, right?
Period. Right?
Not
That's it.
Kenobi.
You're absolutely right. Okay.
They're blending together at this point. Was Grogu in Kenobi? I can't even fucking remember at this point.
No.
No, he wasn't in
gosh.
Kenobi. No, he wasn't in Kenobi, but he was in Boba Fett. Okay. But they did not make Kenobi and Boba Fett for new fans at all. At all.
Well, they didn't make it for the old fans either. So
Nope. They did not.
The way that you get new fans, flat out, okay, and here's your proof: 7, 8, and 9 is films, and they're not making films.
So again, absent the fact they're making films, I'm with Maria. Absent the fact they're making films, right? We're getting 12 episodes of a beautifully scripted and acted series that, to my estimation, is bringing in 0 new fans.
Correct.
Maybe 0 is hyperbolic. Maybe they're bringing in 5 new fans, right? But the series is not bringing
we got
in new
a solid
fans.
12 more Disney Plus subscribers off of Andor. I guarantee that.
And so I'm
100%. At least 12.
So on the one hand, I'm like, everyone who's like, Kathleen Kennedy hates folks, blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, I have to disagree on this because she commissioned this huge investment.
Don't talk about Matt like that.
In this 12 episode thing that we're getting, right? But it's not bringing new people into the franchise.
All right.
I have a news question.
No. This is how you're going to bring new fans in. Let me tell you right now.
Film.
This is called X-Wing fixes Star Wars in 10 seconds. You want to bring in young new men, possibly even young new women, into Star Wars. You make a Sith show, and you make that motherfucker the most brutal, sadistic piece of shit that goes around killing and doing whatever the fuck he wants to do with the lightsaber. Every young man in the world is like, I want that saber. I want that lightsaber.
I mean,
I want to buy that lightsaber.
Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
You do. Yeah, well, he wasn't a brutal, sadistic, crazy piece of shit that killed and did whatever. No. And don't even try to argue it, Maria, for a half a second, because you fucking know it's not true. You give me a Sith Lord, and they're gonna want it, because you can't tell me for a heartbeat everybody didn't want Darth Vader's saber. When Darth Vader was coming around fucking everybody up,
Darth Maul.
Everybody wanted it. Or Darth Maul. Everybody wanted. If you want to bring in young men to the franchise, which is something that you need to do, I know that we're hyper focused on making everything equal and equality and bringing women into, and we have to make everything for young girls, and that's why we have Rey. Bottom line is, it's called Star Wars. What a young men love. What a little boys love.
Exactly.
They pull out a stick and they try to fucking kill each other with imaginary bullets when they're a young
Now,
man.
how about when they make a Tales of the Jedi, if they do a season 2, how about they do Tales of the Sith?
Yeah,
You have, and give me a second.
Yes.
Give me a second. If you make a strong male character who is a Sith and like a gnarly bad guy, and he's going out and killing everything, and then introduce a young hero, you're gonna totally have exactly what you want. Young men all over are gonna be like, holy shit, that's a knight. That's in my DNA. I like knights.
Yeah.
It's just impossible you cannot override that shit in young men. It's just a fact of life.
You want to bring in new Star Wars fans?
Bye, Maria.
With two lightsabers.
Oh, there she
two
is.
Lightsabers. With two lightsabers, and you will have that shit sold out.
That's all I'm saying. And you look at what HasLab did. They're pushing the shit that doesn't work. You look at the Reva lightsaber. No young boy is like, I want a Reva lightsaber. Like, no, they just don't. Do you want an Anakin lightsaber? Fuck yeah, I want an Anakin lightsaber. Do you want a Darth Vader lightsaber? Fuck yeah, I want one. What about a Luke lightsaber? Fuck yeah, I want a Luke lightsaber.
Right.
So think about it. I mean, boys have been fighting with each other and still to this day continue to fight with each other. It's just a thing. You want to bring in kids, you want to bring back Star Wars, you want to really invigorate the youth, go to what works. Young men love war. Old men don't. It's the bottom line.
I venture to say that women love war.
But again,
depends on the women.
Ooh, like it's freaking Princess Rhaenyra.
Not to
there you go. See, and that's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Not
sorry,
to
Rissman.
beat my Andor dead horse, right? But it's not even merchandisable, right? What are we buying? What is it that they're selling from this series? Again, not that I want it to be over merchandised, right?
Andor.
But I bought the one Lego set that they put out, which was the TAC fighter, and it was Luthen and Andor on the speeder. But I'm like, they're not attracting new fans. They're not even merchandising it. I as much as I love it, as much as I love Rogue One, I'm really struggling to understand what is the point of this series. What is
tell a good story for Star Wars fans. Bottom line, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
What is it?
Here we go. We're here. See, Kylo Ren.
What did you say, X-Wing? What was the point of it?
Oh, it's a choke 10. Just to tell a good story for Star Wars fans. That's it. I don't think there was other than a small release from Hasbro Pulse that we saw earlier, where we saw Bix, B2 Emo, we saw another Andor, and then I think a Luthen in the figures. There really hasn't been a big push for merchandising from this show.
No.
And beyond that, I mean, there was an advertising campaign, but I don't think it was anything near from what we've seen from other. It's certainly not on the level of fucking Mandalorian at all.
No. Oh, no.
And so for me, I think, again, this show just kind of exists in this weird medium in between the big ones and the little ones, where it was just a story made for Star Wars fans. And that was it. And I don't think there was like a grand design behind it to push any kind of agenda. I don't think there was any kind of large marketing push to make this the new Star Wars or anything like that. Very much like Rogue One, this was just a story for Star Wars fans. And that's why I love it.
We're getting another second season of 12 episodes, right?
I know.
I mean, they put money on it. Don't get me wrong. They put money on it.
They put all of the sequel money into Andor.
Do you
This
think
is why we
Tales
have
of the
physical
Jedi-
locations and practical sets.
What sequel money?
Dude.
Yeah. No, do you think
Don't
Tales
knock
of the
it.
Jedi was
They
plugged in there
made a lot of
because-
money out of those films.
because like EU fans and older Star Wars fans got Andor.
What did you just
right?
call me? I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, do you think we got Tales of the Jedi kind of midway point to kind of band-aid some things? Because obviously it's not universal. This is not seeking universal Star Wars fans or attracting new audiences. I felt like Tales of the Jedi was something to bring people back home. Something
That's just
universal
so
people.
conspiracy to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's such a conspiracy theory to think that somebody, 2, 3, 4 years ago, God knows how much production goes into these things. They sat down and they're like, well, Andor might not land. So let's sit down and we're going to write a storyboard and we're going to do this whole thing. We're going to pay fucking animators. We're going to make this entire project just in case people don't like Andor, and we'll release it halfway through just in case they don't like it.
Let
it's
me
going to be
bring
a
up
Band-Aid.
an
It's like,
example here.
wait, what? That doesn't fucking...
Well,
that
let
doesn't
me bring an
sound
example here.
right to me.
These are all owned by Disney. Okay, so look at was it with Oscar Isaac, right? Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
So they also released Captain Marvel in between Miss Marvel in between Captain Marvel or in between Obi-Wan, right? They released Captain Miss Marvel in between Obi-Wan. So therefore that could blanket that not success if it failed in a way, right? So there's a strategy to marketing or whatever. They may not have confidence in a certain project or whatever and might want to express certain things, but there's always a plan. I don't think it's a
I think
conspiracy
if a studio
theory.
doesn't have utmost if a studio doesn't have confidence in a program, they're not going to make it.
Well, I think
And
it's like they may have
that-
confidence in marketing research, but until it comes out, that's when they judge the stuff, and they're like, okay, this is not doing well as we perform, so let's drop this in between. X-Wing, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just speculating, and I could be full of crap, right? This is just my assessment.
Well, just the way
That's
I
it.
think about it is,
Right.
you have a project like Andor, okay? You
Okay.
have millions of dollars invested in this,
Yeah.
and I'm talking money you and I could never fucking dream of, okay? Shit piles of money.
Sequel
I don't
money.
think that they put that project out and they're like, well, just in case this doesn't work, let's do an animated show in the middle of it just to kind of spice things up a little bit. I don't
That's
think
not their
that's
thing.
how studio heads really approach shit like this. I think they're like, dude, Andor's gonna slap. People are thinking about it. We should make this. And then, you know what? We've been working on this project for a while. We're finally making a head. Why don't we bring it in there and hype it up even more? Let's get more people in on the, I just don't think that they're like, well, we spent millions of dollars on the show, but just in case somebody doesn't like it, let's do an animated show in the middle. I don't think that's how the boardroom works.
Well, I think you got it from a different perspective as far as like, though I'm not thinking it that way. I'm just thinking like as far as different like audiences, right? Obviously, like Andor is going to hit from different audiences, but
This
like
is
the
true.
universal appeal as far as like people that are Attack of the Clones fans, right? Bringing the audience home. It's like, hey, Star Wars fans, we're doing something different, right? And I hope you support it. But we also have this. We're trying something different, but this is a reminder. Hey, we're still listening to you, but we're trying stuff different. So just follow.
I mean, if you're talking about
that
diversifying the content that a studio produces, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
they do.
So-
that,
Yeah,
100%.
that's all I'm trying to say.
Let me chime
I'm
in
not
here
saying,
because I
like-
kind of have some insight on that. So the way that shows are being developed for Disney Plus, the main objective from a marketing standpoint is to retain the customers and the subscriptions they have versus having them drop the subscription, okay, for a month or two to pick it back up later. So their main objective right now is to keep that subscription every single month. It is a retainment structure and not an attraction structure. Okay, so they're not looking to attract new subscribers. They're looking to keep you subscribed for X amount of, for the full year, if you will. And then they have also their schedules are planned at least 10 months in advance, if not more. And they have a competing schedule with all of the other properties that are hosted on Disney Plus, which is why they have continuously not added more original content besides the Marvel and Star Wars, because they don't want to have too much competing things there. This next year, Disney Plus is probably going to be.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
To its library, so that people can watch existing content through there, but not bringing in new franchises. They are on a retainment structure and not an attraction structure.
Dude, I mean, Disney and Marvel, what else the fuck do you really need to hold up a...
Nothing. That's it.
You got the big ones. Team Money, my brother. It's open, by the way, if you want to drop in. Much love, bro, for $2. I appreciate you. I miss you, one of the OGs from the Hangar Bay community. I just want you to know, I want to say...
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your generous contribution to
X-Wing.
Thank you.
That's my
love you,
favorite
buddy.
one.
Oh, Dave Chappelle.
And by the way, T Money, great to see you. He's the biggest Rebels fan, even a bigger Rebels fan than I am. So it's always good to have another big Rebels fan here.
Shut up, Matt. I'm just kidding. I love Rebels. I'll be honest with you. I love Rebels. There's so much good stuff there. Really going to be interested to see if they try to bring some of those characters into live action. You were mad about Cad Bane.
No Zeb. Please no Zeb.
You know what we saw? So Zeb was going to be the one, but we saw Harrison Dula walking into a cockpit in a trailer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Hera's in it. No,
Yeah.
Hera's in Ahsoka.
Hera's in it.
No.
Oh, but when I donate money, one of my little buddies got poped.
Pope?
We actually don't do any kind of christening or coronation for the Christian church here. It's not really our thing.
I will say the Pope is not one. The Pope
That is not. No. There's no pontificating on this.
I mean, I do have an altar here, but it's not quite for that kind of
that altar. We don't need to.
Kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that. We have been going for 2 hours and 6 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm enjoying the flow of things. There is one other thing I wanted to bring up with you guys. Really quick, I want to hit the super chat from Roland New for $1.99. Had a great time tonight. You guys rock. Thank you so much for showing up, buddy. I really appreciate it. Anytime anybody from my community pops on, I really enjoy it. Cobra's over there just yawning it out right now.
Oh no, is he falling asleep too?
He got everything he needed out about Star Wars in that yawn right there. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Roland, for the $1.99. This is for you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you for your generous contribution to
X. You know what? That wasn't the right one.
That was my favorite one, by the way.
We need to do this one.
Just get ready for work. You see me happy, work. You see me do me dirt. And so we put in work.
Why do you think your technique?
That was
my
favorite.
My favorite scene in the sequels. I love that. I thought they choreographed that perfectly. It was really good. Really good.
I hate that one.
I felt that. So anyway.
Well, I'm probably gonna kick out of here, X-Wing, because I have a lot of work to do, payroll to do.
But wait, before you go, Maria, let's hear the next. X-Wing said he had another thing he wanted to talk about. Before you go, let's hear what it is.
All right. Let's hear what it is.
No, she could boot out. You're good.
Bye, Maria.
Bye, guys.
I have one question before you go.
Oh gosh.
Who's the best Sith in the galaxy, you think?
Emperor Valkorian.
I would agree.
I would 100%.
Personally, I would have to agree.
Most baddest, most,
Just
just
raw.
destruction.
Really
Yeah,
bad guy.
whatever.
Really bad guy. Yeah.
Really bad guy. Okay. All right, guys. See you guys. Take care.
Bye. Take care, Marie.
Bye.
By the way, X-Wing.
She's still here. I thought
Yes.
she was leaving, but she's still here.
In a year's time, I'm gonna make you like Ray.
Oh!
Hey, you should probably talk to me.
Unlikely.
Tim is the original Raylo, so you should talk to him.
Yes, I'm sure he will love that. I'll see you guys. Take care.
I'll have lunch with Maddie. That's the best you're gonna get. All right. If I don't pee, I'm gonna punch somebody in the face. I swear to Bob.
I thought you said you had something else you want to talk about.
I do, but I'm gonna leave you to your devices for a minute.
All right.
2 hours later. So it's true.
All right, John Graber, tell us something good. You're muted.
All right, BRB.
I think so. Everybody goes to the original trilogy movies. Everybody. What drove the original trilogy movies?
What did what?
What drove them?
What drove them?
The toys. There's no toys. I think that's a big deal. I mean, how can you release the series and then there's no toys till like a year later and then everybody forgets about it?
You know, it's. But
I think it's just a different time.
Yeah.
Kids don't want the toys; they want their electronic devices.
The old man wants the toys. I'm telling you that right now.
But do kids play with toys now like we did when we were coming up? Because when we were coming
I don't
up,
think so.
You had to play with toys because there was nothing else to do. Now it's kind of like you got all these other things to do, and it's like toys. It's like it seems like it's in the
They have
whole,
video games now.
Yeah,
They
in the
don't-
whole sphere of things to do, it's kind of like, well, toys is like the bottom of the barrel, right?
Yeah, but the toys, when you release the toys, it's like a year later, and everybody's either the series is gone or everybody's forgotten about it.
No, X-Wing, we're not talking about us. We're talking about kids today and how they prioritize toys in comparison to other, more pervasive electronic distractions.
Well, who the fuck needs a toy when you have a smartphone?
Point being made.
That's exactly.
Yeah, you just don't.
I do.
So my question, what I wanted to talk about was the parks. I wanted to talk about the parks because, I haven't really talked about it. I haven't made a video about it. I haven't really given, my thoughts on the experience of going to Galaxy's Edge. But to be honest with you guys, it's a big thing for me. It's a really big thing for me because I can't tell you how excited I was when I heard that we were going to get a Star Wars Disney park. We were going to get a Star Wars hotel in Disney. I'm like, everything that I wanted when I was a child came to fruition in that announcement right there. Now the events have come to pass. The hotel is open. The Disney park is there, and I've been there. And
yep,
how was it?
It's underwhelming.
Emotional damage. They did drop the ball.
I walked in the front. I just
I don't even know. Like, I can't even tell you that. Like,
now you went to Orlando, correct?
Yes, I went to Disney World.
And I was in Disneyland.
Did you go to Avatar?
Avatar Land was fucking sick.
Blows Star Wars away, doesn't it?
Blow Star Wars Land out of. Are you a blood now? What do you got a red? What?
Yes.
Team Money done joined the Bloods. What's your deal, son?
Bro, I've been gone for months. That's where I've been.
Man, that's what you.
My Rebels brother is here.
He's like, fuck MIT. I'm going in the blue.
No, he's got his
fuck is that?
It's Team Money Sarwell.
Team
Don't
Money's
forget.
got his pumpkin. Oh
I was
my
clapping.
God.
I turned off my LEDs.
That's the whole reason why he popped in, was just to show that fucking pumpkin.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Oh, God.
Probably.
I've missed you all though.
What's up, buddy?
Bro, life. I've been busy. If you check my Instagram, I've been Yeah, pretty much all that. But yeah, I miss talking to all my homies about Star Wars.
Yeah, we miss you, bud.
Yeah.
Have you been
He
to?
grew up. He looks like he's old now. What happened?
He lost the. Do you remember that epic mustache he had for a while?
Yeah, man.
I miss the epic mustache,
He
dude.
looks like a whole different person.
Kid's
Bro,
like 19. He had his mustache was like 50 times better than mine. I'm like, fuck.
Right?
I'm 31 years old.
I literally shaved on Thursday, I think. Within a week, it's like fully grown.
Oh yeah, well, good for you.
Yeah. I shaved when I was like 13 once, and this is what I got so far.
Is that why you came in here? You came to here to brag?
And
Teenage
X-Wing
brag?
still looks like a wannabe porn star with his mustache, right? So it's like,
no.
Draver knows.
I'm a dreamer.
Draver knows.
All right, so we were talking about the Star Wars parks. T-Money, have you been to Galaxy's Edge yet?
I've only been to Universal when I was 10, so
Okay.
I haven't. I'm waiting until I get my degree, get a good engineering job, then I can finally travel.
Yeah. What do you think from what you've seen so far? Do you think you would like it?
I mean, like
everybody, you're the biggest sequel fan that I have in my community. I know that. So
totally, man, totally. Not like, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I haven't really been to a park in a long time. I would probably get some enjoyment from it, but would I be fully satisfied? Probably not, because obviously it's a very limited fraction of the Star Wars universe and wouldn't fulfill everything I'd want. But
it's about 15% of the entirety of Star Wars. That's what
pretty
Galaxy's
much.
Edge is. Yeah.
I mean, like, yes, you can't fit everything of Star Wars, but you are literally missing, like, you only have 1/3 of the Skywalker saga, so it's like
there's a lot missing.
There's a lot missing.
Let me ask
But,
you.
but now they
Yep,
have
there is.
now they have like Boba Fett there, right? Or
Well, only in one
He's at Disneyland.
Yeah,
and I did see Boba Fett.
They're going to go to Disneyland, and they'll only be in Disneyland because if they went to Disney World, it would break the immersion of the Halcyon Star Cruiser.
Wait,
So the interesting thing about this is Boba and Fennec are okay in Orlando, but Mando and Grogu were not. So somebody decided that from an immersion standpoint, Mando and Grogu broke the mold because Boba and Fennec have already been walking around Galaxy's Edge in Orlando, and I'm kind of like, let's just get into it.
Who is fucking making these decisions?
Moff, do you talk to Rogue Disney?
I have talked to Rogue Disney.
I just
Disney?
met him. I met him like 2 months ago.
Yeah, you were on my channel.
He's always got that.
No, I met him at Disney World.
Okay.
His arm, yeah.
Okay, so no, he's legitimate, and I know some like influencers that go there. So what's the issue? What's going on right now? I don't know. I'm asking you guys right now what's going on. I've never.
No, the point that X-Wing was making is because of immersion and the fact that the Halcyon lands.
We're not allowed to have anything else from Star Wars other than that specific time period in Star Wars, which is the Rey Kylo sequel trilogy aspect of it. There can't be any other Star Wars. No George Lucas, no nothing George Lucas. All you can have is sequel trilogy. That's it. And so you've shoehorned yourself into this little fucking time frame in Star Wars when you've spent billions of dollars building a Star Wars park and you've alienated 75% of your fucking fan base.
No, you're right. X-Wing, you're right. No. I've heard this. No, yeah, you're right. No, this is
which location is which? Where
he's talking about Florida.
Yeah, so Florida, because they have the Halcyon Star Cruiser, they want their guests to be completely immersed. They're not allowing any other time frames. Now in Disneyland in California, they're allowing in California because there is no Halcyon. They're allowing apparently Boba and Fennec, but they're not allowing.
I saw both.
It's this, again. The breaking point seems to be Mando and Grogu, because again,
which
Boba
makes no
and
sense.
Fennec has been walking around in Orlando, but as soon as they announced the whole Mando with Grogu in the satchel or whatever, they said very specifically that was a Disneyland exclusive.
Okay.
So again, I'm going to be the outlier here, right? I've been to Galaxy's Edge many times, and I've had a great time every time. I like to go to Oga's, right? I've always come away buying
Oga's
things,
was
whatever.
pretty cool.
I've never felt it was not Star Wars, right? But I do align with the fact that it's a very specific flavor of Star Wars that does cater towards
Sequel Star Wars.
That sequel.
That's it.
Story. And if I want to go and see some of the rest of it, just walk a little bit towards Star Tours, and I'm home again.
You're
right?
talking about that one small section where there's an AT-AT and Star Tours. That's it. That's fucking it. That is all that's left of George Lucas's Star Wars.
If you walk back further to the whole, launch bay, you can find the museum, you can find Darth Vader, you can find all
Which
that
was closed when I was there, by the way.
Yeah, it's back now. All that they all brought it back. So
when I was there, it was closed.
Yeah, it's back. You can have your Vader meet and greet. You can have your Chewbacca meet and greet. And
I'm so glad they stuck Vader in the fucking back room of a museum. Grr! That's the shit I'm talking about. This is why I made the video, and I was like, the 3 things that are gonna fucking make me happy. Like, acknowledge that other Star Wars exists, tell original stories, and fix your fucking parks. Done.
This is my main...
make Star Wars movies. I'm sorry.
And games. Stop canceling games.
And stop. Yes, I saw your comment. Like, stop canceling fucking Star Wars games. For the love of God.
Force Unleashed is the best game ever. Fucking go. Everyone else can fuck off.
But so
I will send you to Jesus.
Force Unleashed 1 and 2 is the best. Like,
take it easy, man. Take it easy, man. Just take it easy, man. Don't forget about KOTOR, buddy.
Whatever, KOTOR. No, I got KOTOR, Star Wars, The Old Republic. I got that. Whatever.
Here's my main question, though. Like, so their whole reasoning for making it sequel based is because they wanted it to be a part of the universe and have it be immersive and all that. My question is, how many people really asked for that? Like, because we could have honestly just had a theme park representing Star Wars and not have it be a quote unquote story connected to the timeline sort of thing. And just have it
just a fucking Star Wars park.
Straight up a park for everyone to enjoy. That way that, like, yes, you can still have it be
fucking Mando
immersive.
Slapping hands with Padme, just like everybody's just pumped.
Have you seen those videos with like them all dancing, and it's like every like character mishmash?
It was the old show, like Chewie's dancing with Boba Fett. Yeah.
But
I'm
like,
for it.
I mean, I am too, but
T Money, it's not even that deep, right? It's all around timeline.
I know.
And by that I mean it's like they finally opened Galaxy's Edge,
which it took them a long time to do.
We were coming off of the sequel trilogy, right? And so it had been
that's called shallow business decisions.
Yeah, it had been planned for so long, and Disney takes now so long to finish anything. They're like, we have to carry through on this decision, right?
Bad call.
As we were going along, right? We're like, well, we have to finish what we started, and so for better or for worse, here we go. And the same with the fucking Galaxy Shield Cruiser, right? It was planned from the sequel time frame, right? So they're like, we have to continue on. We have to complete what we started, and we're kind of like, any of the rest of us who were involved in any kind of a big business understands the concept of pivoting, right? Which is, okay, times have changed. Let's try something else. We don't have to keep going, right? It's just stupid. Just stupid.
Send me a box. Kidding.
I thought you were gonna laugh at this, Rissman.
What is it?
I'm confused.
I am too.
Bob Chapstick.
Oh,
Oh.
I call him cheapskate, right? I don't call him chapstick, right? I call him cheapskate.
Wait, wasn't Galaxy's Edge though before he took over?
It was, but
The initialization of it was.
Iger had a vision, right? But cheapskate was like, nah, man, we're just gonna, for whatever else, we're gonna keep on going, right? This is
They rode that bitch
ass.
until the bloody end, dude.
You know what I mean? And I as much as I hate the guy, I have to give him credit, right? He's never wavered from what he said.
How's that working out?
Not fucking good. Well, from our standpoint, not fucking good. But from the money standpoint, they spent $4 billion on the Star Wars franchise, right?
Yeah,
they
they
made that back on the 3 sequels.
Yeah.
Right. So from their standpoint, everything else that comes in is gravy. From
Well,
a financial
Rissman, it's
perspective.
not exactly true because if you look up the scale, it made a downward slope. It lost money in a way, right? X-Wing, and we know this. It did lose money in essence, right?
Well, when
Because,
you factor in advertising and stuff like that, the
it made
numbers
one-
aren't quite as pretty as they might like you to think, but you also
Yeah.
have to remember that the money that they're making off of people coming into the parks and the limited amount of money that they have now had from people coming into the Star Cruiser, there's money there.
Yeah,
Look,
so
the bottom line is if they weren't making money, it wouldn't be there. That's the bottom line, and that's the hard truth that a lot of us have to swallow. Is people are like, the fucking sequels lost money, nobody likes Rey, is bullshit. Like, bottom line is they're making money off of it. Now, whether or not
they still
that,
made money, man.
whether
They
or
still
not
made
that
money.
sticks with our ideals, the Star Wars fans, the bottom line is it's making money. Now, whether or not that lasts is the better conversation.
Yeah.
Not
See,
not
the real
whether or
co-
not it's making money.
The real conversation is profit margin. Is the conversation is like as far as like the profit like expense like how much money they could potentially make is the conversation. Potentially make when you're not reaching to your potential, you are losing money. That is the conversation they had on. When you see a film, hold on, 1.2 or whatever for the first film, $1 billion for a film took 10 years to come out, whatever. We had this release. We're like, yes, this feels like Star Wars, very safe.
Are
We
you
have some
drunk?
New Hope. All right, hold on. Let me get my point across.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
But
I think I know what he's trying to say. Is saying like, yes, they made money, but how much more money could they have made?
No,
if
you're not
they-
listening to the point. The point is
Okay.
the first film was very safe, right? The Force Awakens very safe. I liked the first film. I did. Don't take me wrong on that point. And then the second film came out, right? It did lose money compared to the profit margin. And then by the time the third film came out, it did lose somewhat money based on the profit margin. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Star Wars was like a disaster like everyone else. They're just like, oh, it was a disaster. No,
It
I'm
was.
just saying the third film wasn't a disaster. Didn't it make like $1 billion? And like
Regardless of how much money it
first
made,
one,
it was a disaster.
but I'm saying by profit margin. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying
What was the profit margin?
No, I can add. I understand what Tim is saying, right? What Tim is saying is, as the sequels have gone on, those 3 films,
It's
right?
gone
It was
down.
a downward
It went down.
skew.
The cliff went down.
It
Right,
got worse
and
each
everyone-
time.
But
And
my
everyone
point is,
wants
if
a
you
judgment
add
free-
them all three together,
It
whether
made
they
$4
should have
billion.
gone down or not, we would have expected them to be on this way, right? But they went this way. But it doesn't matter.
Because
Right,
to them,
from
they
their
made back that
standpoint,
money.
they made the money back
Yeah.
on the $4 billion they invested.
They
in
did,
the franchise.
Rissman. But the thing is, like, when you're not making the profit margin you did, it's looked at the loss of money. No, shut up. No. Look. If you're not making the money you did before, you're losing money. Right? If you're still making the profit, if you're making $1 billion,
Tim, what the fuck are you saying right now? If you didn't make the money before then why not make the money after?
No, sorry, I don't know if it's
Where's
becoming
the
muffled.
money made the money's come before?
I think
No.
what I get it. I actually do get it. Maybe
I understand what you're saying.
I don't know if it's
together.
muffled, but like if you have like a $500 million budget and you make $700 million profit, right? If you make $700 million, there's 200 laid on the slate, right?
They haven't capitalized on the investment.
I don't know, like
They
is it like
haven't-
sounded
they
differently on
haven't
my
maximized.
different end? Like I don't understand. Does it sound differently on my end?
No, you're good, man. You're good.
No, they have.
Are you guys fucking with me? I don't know. But it's just like I don't understand what's going on. But it's just like the fact that if you make a certain profit margin and you're banking on it and you're spending so much, there's a profit margin. I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I think basically you and I are saying the same thing. They could have made a lot more money.
Yeah,
Bottom line.
that's the bottom
I
line.
think if you drag it down to the bottom line, yeah, they could have made a lot more money. And I think they could be making a lot more money right now at the parks. And that's kind of the whole reason I started the conversation. And again, this goes back to, essentially the Halcyon and everything that they're doing with the Halcyon. You limit the people who want to go visit it. I don't know anybody here, and I could be. I mean, Tim, I know that you're a Kylo dude. You look like Kylo. You're a Kylo fan. I liked Kylo, I liked Ben Solo more than Kylo in the sequel trilogy. But really, you're limiting a lot of the revenue that you can bring in when you basically boil Star Wars down to 3 episodes when they're 9, and not to mention all of the expanded universe, everything that happened in the Clone Wars, everything else, all that stuff. You're really limiting your revenue stream when you don't appeal to all of your Star Wars fans. You're only appealing to the stuff that Disney did. That was my bottom line for the parks.
Yeah.
Regardless of profit margin.
Yeah, but don't you think they're too far in at this point? Because when they did Galaxy's Edge, they did the sequel trilogy. And then they had movies planned like every year after that, which I assume would, in some way, centered around was it Bat 2 or whatever? Well, that didn't pan out. Now we're screwed.
and John, by the way, one of the e-ticket rides in Galaxy's Edge, Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, is based on Solo.
Yeah, I didn't write it.
Oh,
Can
you
believe
didn't?
that? I went all the way to Florida.
I did
and
3
write
times.
Smugglers.
And it's awesome.
It was
By the
awesome.
way, you walk through, and
I liked it better than Rise of the
You've got a
Resistance.
huge Hondo animatronic talking to you, and the whole he is the whole thing around
That-
the ride. It's amazing.
That animatronic looks sick.
It's
Mechanically, as a mechanical engineer, like that is something I would love to work on. Just
Yeah, there's some Boston Dynamics shit
stand
going
in
on
that
with that.
queue
Mhm.
just to see that animatronic, and then you get in the ride, and he's talking to you, and all this. Again, yes, it's Solo based, but they did a great job on that. It should be reskinned, right? It should be like Star Tours. They should be able to have
like rotating in
story.
that way you can have
keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Right. But all I'm saying is, one more thing, they went all
They're
in.
shoehorning themselves into a corner.
Yep.
Yeah.
They painted
Well,
themselves in the
Solo
corner.
was also a great movie, right? So I mean, I get it. I totally get it.
He's waiting to come back in. I don't think I'm going to let him back in.
The only reason you don't like that movie is because of how he got his last name. It's a really good.
That is not the only reason I don't like that movie.
The
You
main
are out of
reason.
your fucking
It's the-
mind if you
it's
think
the
that's the only
main
reason I don't like that
reason.
movie.
It's the main reason why.
It's one of the reasons.
I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, because Droid Freedom was at the fucking top of my list. Where I'm like, I can't wait for a new Star Wars movie
for
coming out.
Christ's
I want to see
sake.
what Droid writes
Get
for all of
over
it. Shut the
it.
fuck
Get
up.
over it. Get over it. She had.
Excuse my French.
She
I'm
was
sorry.
the female equivalent of K2SO. She was fine.
Yeah. Was she?
She was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, her and Lando had their thing, right? I mean, I'm not going to go into all that, right?
All right. Look, mommy and daddy have to have a fight. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. We're gonna have to lose the guest. Mommy and daddy have to have a fight really quick about Droid Freedom. Thank you, everybody. John Grayberg, Cobra Disney, Tim Possible, and T Money. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
I love that pumpkin, by the way, T Money.
Dude, that pumpkin is. I'm a little ashamed of myself for not having carved one at this point. I mean, New Orleans is 3 days away. Okay. Everybody, have a good night. Thank you so much for popping on. I really appreciate it.
See you guys.
We'll do Pop M soon. We'll do Popkins again soon. But this stream is not over.
Uh-oh.
What the fuck are you talking about when you say Solo is even remotely defensible as a Star Wars movie?
It's a great story.
How?
What do you mean, how? My goodness, right there. It has. Solo has every component required to be a great Star Wars story. What do you mean?
Yeah, the components are there. Did they execute?
Of course.
No.
You're just a Solo movie hater. It's a
terrible movie.
It's not a terrible movie.
Terrible movie. Awful.
Solo, here we go. Hot take.
Okay.
Solo is a much better Star Wars movie than The Phantom Menace. Ooh, he's thinking about it.
No, I'm not thinking about it.
Oh, come on.
I'm really just thinking about how you and I have existed this long together as friends for you to say the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard you say in your entire life.
Oh, it's a good
attempt to explain yourself there. Let's talk about story. How the fuck is Solo better than the Phantom Menace? Please elaborate.
Well,
let's have a discussion about storytelling. Let's have a discussion about Star Wars in general. Please tell me how Solo is better than the Phantom Menace.
There's no Jar Jar, right? There's no pod racing. That's good. I would much rather have the.
You don't like pod racing?
Not really.
I had a banner that was going to be there for suicide and mental retardation hotline. It was going to be right across the bottom of the screen. Unfortunately, I didn't cue it up right there, but
I'm going to be there now.
I just what world do you live in where Solo is better than the fucking Phantom Menace? What is better?
I'm just not a Phantom Menace fan.
Okay, that's fine. You can be not a Phantom Menace fan, but how the fuck is Solo better than the Phantom Menace in any aspect? Explain.
It has the Empire. It has it has. I like Paul Bettany's character. Amelia Clarke was awesome.
Okay.
I mean Beckett's character. I mean the character. Everything they did in that for me.
So you didn't like Qui-Gon Jinn?
So
you didn't like Shmi Skywalker?
And Shmi is.
So you didn't like Obi-Wan Kenobi?
No.
You didn't like R2-D2 getting his origin in the story? You didn't like getting to see Naboo? You didn't like getting to see Sebulba? You didn't like getting to understand where Anakin came from? Are you telling me that you didn't like any of these things? Because I'm going to reach through the screen and fucking strangle you right now. in a very loving and touching way.
The best thing about the Phantom Menace, of course, was Duel of the Fates, right? Was Darth Maul.
I was saving that for the end, and you just pulled that. No, we're talking about the base shit right now.
But the rest of the movie was trash. The rest of that
Girl.
movie was trash.
How so?
Right. And I'm like, I have watched Solo and Rogue One, by the way, many more times over and over and over again than I've ever watched Phantom Menace again.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying. Right. By the way, on Solo we had Mimban and we had Mud Troopers and we had all those things that were so cool, right? Phantom Menace, this is pod racing.
You keep going to pod racing. Did you actually watch the Phantom Menace, or did you just kind of watch the trailer and you're like, oh well?
No, I watched it twice. It was enough.
Twice? Okay, all right. Can you name 3 planets that we got in the Phantom Menace?
What? Tatooine, Naboo, Tatooine, Naboo, Coruscant.
Oh, there's 3. How about some cities? Can you name three cities that we got in there?
No, because it wasn't memorable enough to impress on my mind. Well, this will be my last late night. Thank you all for being here. Listen, everyone's like L3 ruined it, blah blah blah. If everyone's worst part about Solo was L3, I get it. Right? I get it. It's fine. By the way, she ended up, in the Falcon, but that's okay. No problem at all.
So to everybody watching the stream right now, I want you to remember that he said that tonight. That Solo was better than the Phantom Menace.
For me,
I want everybody just to remember that Matt Rissman said tonight that Solo was better than the Phantom Menace. I just want you to remember that. So when we move forward in conversations and we have arguments and we talk about Star Wars, I want everybody to know that Matt fucking Rissman said that Solo was better than the Phantom Menace.
Sorry.
Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Don't ever let this leave your mind. And then just remember that I have to talk to this guy every fucking week. Every week It's not easy. Okay? I love this man to my death. But you want to talk about shit takes? Oh my God. Rissman.
Hey, but again, these are my takes, right?
It's a shit take.
Binding on anyone
It's a
else.
shit take. Just admit it's a shit take, and we can move on. We can end this stream if you just say that was a shit take.
I will never say it was a shit take.
That was a shit take.
It's my
It was a shit take. It's a shit take.
Okay.
What the hell? Shit take.
You can have Jar Jar. I'll take Lando. That's fine.
That's not even this fucking childish Gambino. That's not fucking Lando. He won the Sabaka and he's like, this is America.
Glover killed
Okay, you
it.
slipping now.
Glover killed it. You can have
He
have
did
Jar
fine.
Jar.
All right, you know what? This has gone on too long.
Misa so sorry. Misa sorry. Misa sorry.
And we're gonna end the stream on that.